well,
been
that's
able
right.
to do lunch.
It was non-Roundtable related anyway, but I do have my little helper in here, Alexa Reardon, and she's going to do Sue Thomas's random fact of the day in the next hour. So do we have, Jane, let me start with you. We have breaking news here on the St. Louis County Prosecutor. Is that what we're finding
we
out?
do.
All right, so tell me what happened
I
here.
pulled the court order off of CaseNet, and Judge May has ruled that the state of Missouri is the appointing authority for the St. Louis County prosecuting attorney to replace Wesley Bell when he goes to Congress on January 3rd.
Okay, so the bottom line here is Wesley Bell's going to Congress. We need a new prosecutor. Sam Page decided to appoint his own St. Louis County prosecutor, a guy who was a federal prosecutor, quit his job to take this job. Then the state came in and said, no, wait a second here. I think we have the responsibility to do this. You've admitted the last couple of weeks that the particulars on the law were a little gray, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was not a slam dunk. Right. It was by no means a frivolous lawsuit on either side, but a decision needed to be made. And everyone needs to move on now.
All right, so is this a final? Is this final then? Or
no, it can
it's
be appealed.
Appealable, right?
Yes,
appealable.
It's appealable.
But look, I think the big criticism is that Sam, in playing a game, appointed someone when I think the governor and Sam, at least the governor's office, was glad to wait and let the court act so it didn't embarrass anybody and to get a fair determination of what the law is and solve that gray area. And so in this case, you have Sam, not only the loser, but he put someone in the place the council voted down and in a premature fashion. So I think it's 3 strikes. He's out.
Yeah, it's a little weird that he had the guy doing transition, and one of the candidate that was chosen by the governor was in the office as this other person was doing the transition. So it's not really a way to run a railroad. It's that office is really struggling right now, and
let's get into the bigger
leadership.
story. Let's get into the bigger story. And you joined me 24 hours ago because I don't know that I really still even understand this one, how the clerk is being charged with a felony, and this goes to a grand jury a couple of days ago. So lay this out. We'll let the panel respond here this afternoon.
The clerk of the St. Louis County Council.
Correct. Well, the clerk of it's a clerk. She's the clerk of the county, actually. And she, and anyway, Sam Page and Wesley Bell got an indictment against her in the Hancock matter because she rejected the employment after the hullabaloo all came up. She in the computer, she's in the workflow because she's technically the HR person, basically, for all staff on the county council.
Dennis Hancock is my county councilman. He's newly elected to the council. What happens is he tries to hire his
daughter or his
stepdaughter into a position. Then that's flagged.
Yes,
it's against state law. You can't hire relatives.
Right. It's right. Exactly. It's
nepotism. But he never paid her, because they called him on it before he had a chance to give her a paycheck.
Well, and I think that's why the prosecutor's office and Sam may be so frustrated, because they may have jumped the gun. But anyway, all she did is when the employment came to her, she was the last person in the workflow for payroll and for HR. She pressed reject. And the reason she pressed reject was one. The stepdaughter had already said, I don't want to be employed. I don't want to be paid. And then, and the clerk was told it was unconstitutional. So she did the right thing rejecting
the facts, we don't know the facts yet. You may know, I don't know. But I think getting the facts obscures the real issue here. It's another time where Sam played a sophomoric move that sacrificed the leadership of the county, because clearly this is a very vindictive, a very serious move against the council and staff. And to that regard, he is freezing the county government at a time we need them to be working together, and he's going to have a more hostile council. To me, he is sacrificed for a short-term political play. Basically his leadership for the next 2 years.
The running of the county. I mean,
that's big.
Well, I mean,
whatever the technical issues are, his move.
Indicting a staff member on what planet?
Well, Rainford, I want you to weigh in, but one thing I just want to make clear here is that this is what's even more unique about this. Not one member of the council approves of this move.
Correct.
Not even Lisa Clancy and the Wackos.
Right.
Correct. I mean, he's so ham-handed with this, he even lost Lisa Clancy on it. What really bothers me on the whole thing, on the prosecutor, I actually am sympathetic that I do think that, the St. Charles County county executive got to name the prosecutor. Probably ought to be the right thing that the county executive name him. But the person he named had, in testimony in front of the county council, said he had tried one case and Melissa Price Smith, who got appointed by the governor, has extensive criminal trial experience.
Oh, yeah.
And then what was even more troubling is Melissa Price Smith, who seems to be an honest person, said somebody on Sam's behalf called her twice asking for dirt on a county councilman.
Who hasn't even been seated yet.
We need to know who that is, and I give
I missed
credit.
that one. What?
Oh, yeah, no.
Yes.
She got 2 phone calls. But so she had already expressed an interest in being prosecutor. And
She had worked with the council member, and they were asking her.
They hadn't worked together. That was the point. Her sister had worked with him. So she has a twin who is also a prosecutor. So somebody on behalf of Sam called Melissa and said, "Hey, we need you to get dirt on Mike Archer." And
Not
she's
once,
like,
but twice.
Yeah, she said, "Well, I didn't work with him. We didn't overlap. I don't have any information on him."
During the interview process, and then she doesn't get picked, which again, maybe that's not, maybe
Related,
there wasn't an issue,
but
but
it looks
draws another conclusion. And we're talking about all this in about a 2 or 3 week period.
Right.
And I want to give kudos, Jane, to Ernie Trachis, who I think absolutely exposed Court and hit
Court Van Ostrin, who
Court
was
Van Ostrin,
appointed by
and
Sam.
did a great job in turning the council against him. And it's weird is that the council, who
all
supports
agree.
Sam's position that the county should pick the prosecutor,
Right.
all opposed his nomination, and actually, I believe
Voted him
they all
down.
support her.
And they voted him
governor's
down.
It's David Barklage, GOP consultant. Jeff Rainford is here. Jane Duker. So let me. One thing that's confusing. I'm not confused by Sam pulling shenanigans, but what's Wesley's angle here? He's moving to
that's the
why in the
thing
world would
that
he
I-
even be associated with this?
Oh, that's what I really don't get. So he made sure that this indictment that, he overruled twice top lawyers in his office who said, we don't do politics, we do law. And he overruled them and got grand jury time, hid it, tried to hide it from everybody, and then went on his Bahamian vacation.
But does that make any sense? See, this is
Sam
where I
must
feel
have
like I'm
something
missing
on him.
something here.
That's
Am
all
I
I
missing
can
Well,
say.
by the way, I'm a supporter of Wesley. Supported him way 100% over Cory Bush, who I thought was one of the worst members of Congress of all time. And I support him, and I consider him to be, a professional friend. And it's befuddling to me. I've stayed out of it. I haven't contacted him. I haven't.
It isn't to me.
suggested, but it doesn't
It's
make
not
sense.
to you.
There's
It is
no
not to me
upside.
because the look, Kim Gardner was the greatest gift there ever was to Wesley Bell. Her incompetence was so legendary that no one has been paying attention
Yeah.
to how poorly the
Exactly.
prosecutor's office
Jane
has been
said
doing.
that. We
I
have
have
been
said
saying
that.
that.
And
Yeah,
I agree, but I'm just saying is
He
that
hid
I
under
think
her
he is
skirt for
completely
years.
afraid that unless he supports Sam's position, Sam's nominee, etc., that his office is going to be exposed for what it is, weakening him in his first term in Congress and embarrassing him for the poor job he did.
And by the way, there's a lawsuit going to trial in January, a sexual discrimination case against him that's going to have a lot of dirty laundry, and it's set for trial at the end, like January 27th. Sam has control over that litigation. So, there could be lots of things. But see, here's the thing. Everybody's like, well, why is he doing this? Because it doesn't make any sense. Just go to Congress. Why do you need to do this?
Well, and by the way, it's not impossible that will happen. Aren't there sort of little signs that this thing is going to end up going away against, is it Valenti is her name? That this thing may not actually go forward,
Well,
that
it's funny
somebody's getting
because-
some cold feet?
Well, they issued a true bill. That's what the grand jury does. They issue a true bill saying, 1 felony and 3 misdemeanors. But the prosecutor's office has yet to file it with court, which means that's what has to happen in order for the charges to issue. So it's more like a recommendation. The prosecutor can still say no, and he has yet to file the charges. So he may chicken out.
So I want to.
Well, I hope he does.
I hope he does.
I want to give kudos to the Democrat Party in this region because a few years ago it seemed that everybody that had style over substance won. Cory Bush, Tashara, Sam, Kim Gardner, and
Wesley.
now it
I'm only
seems
laughing
like
'cause you're
one
saying
by
Sam
one they're
has
going
style.
down. One by one they're going down, and I have to believe that Tashara and Sam are next in line because
I
their
agree.
records are now being exposed because we've dealt with Kim, we've dealt with Cory's antics, and now we're
agree.
focusing on
Okay,
these two.
so along those lines, and we're going to get into some of the national stuff with the continuing resolution, which they're still kind of deciding on here this afternoon. But let's kind of segue into one of
city
Jane's
stuff.
favorite topics. That's Vervis Jones and some of the things that are happening here. The story today, the headline in the Post is St. Louis developer says consultant, a friend of the mayor's dad, offered access to City Hall. Oh, shocker, right?
Girlfriend.
This one's hard to buy, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, this is bad. It's really bad.
So
They
what's
did
the
some
story
great
here?
reporting. It's, there's this developer who wanted access to, some of the
Vervis's
ARPA
girlfriend.
money. And Vervis's girlfriend basically said, you need to hire me to, improve your communication with, SLDC and the mayor. And he even met with Vervis. That was part of the deal. Why is anyone meeting with Vervis Jones about any development project?
That's an excellent question.
There's just absolutely zero justification for that. And so, and so now it's all exposed. So the developer finally said,
I don't know
what?
that it's all exposed. I'm thinking this
there's
is the tip
more.
of the iceberg.
The iceberg. But I meant this incident where he finally came out and said, I was basically, shaken down. And then he fired her. He fired the girlfriend. And then she wrote nasty. He's got emails.
But the story this morning, look, he shared a recording, right?
Yes.
He shared a recording of a
Yes.
conversation in which Elliot.
He shared a recording of a message left by an FBI agent.
Yeah.
That
when
too.
you're the mayor running for re-election and you're in a story in the same story, there's the three letters FBI.
Right.
It's no bueno.
Involuntarily FBI.
Well, look, she sold the progressive community. She was one of them, when in fact all she is the same establishment politician, putting juice in her pockets. And she attacked the business community. Bob Clark the other day.
He did it again today.
That didn't have anything to do with anything. And she's been attacking the school system, her own people for being corrupt. I mean, it's all leading back to her.
Well, let's get to that. And this is another huge local story this week. And,
Yes.
kudos to the St. Louis Post-Dispatch for
They've
doing some
been
pretty good
killing
reporting.
it.
But this credit card stuff and the details of what they were spending this money on just absolutely recklessly in many instances is rather shocking.
Criminal.
And it is criminal. And Steve Butts, state representative, he's on the Roundtable on a regular basis. I think he was here last week, has sent letters to both Gabe Gore and the feds. Gabe Gore responded to his letter saying that they're certainly taking a look at what might be possible. Do you think there's crimes committed there?
I'm going to leave it to the prosecutors to know, because if you are the superintendent and, you follow all the procedures, because there are none,
it might not be a violation.
How you've broken the law. But I will say this, this isn't, first of all, I'm growing numb to all of the scandals that are coming out of the school district and out of City Hall. In the old days, one of these would be enough
to kill somebody,
to blow everything up, and now they're coming out so often. I'm becoming numb to them. But the bigger story for the St. Louis Public Schools is how they survive. They're in a downward death spiral.
They shouldn't. That's the answer.
Well, I understand that, but there's nobody,
then
not DESE, not the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education,
the state,
not the mayor.
It's the time charter schools, the state step up.
I understand what
the problem's there. Everybody's known it. Everybody's known it for years, and it's time to change.
Well, I agree.
The state did have control.
First of all,
of the
there's no choice, because this is the death spiral. This district will not survive. But nobody, not the business community, not the mayor, and not DESE, has stepped forward to start talking about
this is a crisis.
No, this
It's
is a crime against humanity. You want to
crisis.
say the crime not
We're past the crisis.
crime against humanity against these children.
Yes.
That they care more about charging on freaking credit cards than they do educating the kids. And this has not changed. The last time they had a positive bounce was when the state had control and left it for them, and they have misspent every opportunity. This isn't just credit card spending.
No,
this
it's
is
well beyond
kids'
that.
future.
But by the way, not only that, but
And juvenile crime is exploding.
it's also, though, piggybacking on the desperation, the depths of what happened during the pandemic in these kids, the way they were hit. Hang in there. We're a Reardon Roundtable, the final Reardon Roundtable of 2024. We got much more to go.
Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Nothing starting to build on the southbound side of 270. Take it from Dorset down to about Doherty Ferry. Nothing on your northbound side. Southbound 170 from Forest Park Parkway down to 64. Westbound 64, Kings Highway over to Big Bend. Westbound side hits the brakes around, we'll call it 170 over to Big Bend. And we've got 55 roadwork delays southbound from Broadway to Bates. And then again, you're going to hit the brakes right around Germania on down to Lindbergh. Northbound side is okay, but that's through that long-term work zone. The rest of the roadways are in pretty decent shape. This report is sponsored by New Perspective Senior Living of Weldon Springs, Missouri. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living in Weldon Spring. This brand new facility offers state-of-the-art independent or assisted living and memory care, and now has holiday specials on select apartments. Visit npseniorliving.com or call today to schedule a free lunch to experience senior living redefined for yourself. Always guide you into Susan L. Ward. She's a family practice attorney here in the St. Louis area. They have a couple of different locations. On her website, which is stlfamily.com, at the top you'll see home, practice areas, about, and blog. If you click on that blog, there's really good information that Susan Susan and the team share about some things that might be, important to you. Estate planning, the importance of not waiting there, some things to know related to relocation of your children. But one of the things that you should do if you have questions about any of this, or if you think that you're heading in the direction where you need Susan's help, is call as soon as you can. 314-783-9400. I talked about the website. It has everything. There's a contact form up there. You can easily get in touch with the firm. They've been doing this for a long time, a ton of experience. And Susan's rated AV preeminent. That's a rating by her peers here in the Missouri area, and she's the youngest family law attorney to have that distinction. Check them out today. Go to the website, stlfamilylaw.com.
Local news can come at you fast. Want the latest on what's happening in your backyard? Download the free Odyssey app. Follow your local news station, and you'll get alerts on the top stories making headlines in your city. You can stay in the know, no matter what you're up to, and be among the first to find out when news breaks. Plus, keep tabs on weather and traffic, so you're never caught off guard. To get started, download the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY, and follow your local news station.
And a lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, I'm usually much more active, but since I've been in pain, I've had to limit the activities I'm doing.
You're listening to Janelle, an arch support specialist at the Good Feet store.
So he came in and he wanted to be able to keep up, play sports with his kids. And from there, we figure out which arch supports complement those activities. I fit him with the arch supports, and as I followed up with him, he's messaged me and said, I took my kids to the park today. We're walking, we're exercising, riding the bikes, and those are all things that he wasn't doing before because he was in pain.
For over 25 years, the Good Feet store's arch support specialists have been helping folks to live the life they love without foot, knee, hip, or back pain getting in the way.
Our goal is to have that long-term change for them. That's what's most important, is knowing that you leave an impact on someone's life. And I like that.
Try them for yourself. Stop in for a free personalized fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Visit one of our 2 locations, Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeet.com.
The T.R. Hughes Homes for the Holidays display and inventory sale is going on now through the rest of the year. Move-in ready, up to $50,000 in savings just in time for the holidays. Visit trhughes.com for details. That's trhughes.com.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
This portion of the show is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air.
Merry Christmas.
Hey everyone, it's Ethan from the Mark Cox Morning Show. I just want to take a second to thank all the listeners for such a great year. We couldn't have done this without you guys. I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Also, don't forget, download the Mark Cox Morning Show podcast.
I make my run about the break of day.
Friday afternoon, it's the last Reardon Roundtable of 2024. Jane Duker on the panel, our friend Jeff Rainford, GOP consultant David Barklage, as we toss around the topics of the week and kind of the topics of the year, because we're going to wrap up the year. The latest on the budget in Washington is we have no latest. They're still trying to figure this out with the continuing resolution going back and forth. Mike Johnson needing, I guess, some Democrat support on this. The numbers are very narrow. But, Jane, as you've watched this unfold, I think we all have, there's some big questions as we enter 2025 as to whether there's going to be a new speaker in the House, I guess. Because this has kind of devolved into the same thing that always happens.
Correct. And, my understanding is Trump is in there saying don't do this. So he's already undermining the speaker.
Well, he's not saying don't do this. No, I don't agree with that. I think that they're working in concert with the speaker and they're trying to get
to get something.
Right.
Well, didn't one of them say, oh, let's vote on each piece? And I was like, well, that's, at least they understand log rolling. They want to, that's an interesting concept.
Well, I think the concept is there with voting on these appropriations bills in the future individually. Right now, they're trying to not shut the government down, pass whatever might be considered a clean spending bill, one that has, disaster relief and something along those lines.
But it has to happen.
This is one of those things for, people vote for a certain thing. I get that there's a process. That's what I think a lot of the public just doesn't understand. It gets the sausage making. One of the things that John Kennedy from Louisiana said, I love him because he's a wordsmith. He goes, well, Mike's got a lot of free-range chickens over there talking about the other members of the House. Isn't that great?
I like what he says is that you don't ever buy sushi from a convenience store. But, look, a couple things. One, we're seeing Trump being proactive rather than reactive, which is good for those of us that have been very concerned what a second Trump administration would look like. I think he's actually checking all the boxes. And to that regard, I can understand why he and his team are frustrated watching Washington throw everything in here and just pass it on. And if I were the administration coming in, I'd want a position to say, we need to take a stop and look at this. And to that regard, I actually think, as you said, it is constructive. There is a dialogue, and there are two different worlds. There's the old establishment versus the new. We're in transition, and let's see how this comes out. But I wouldn't condemn one side or the other yet. I think you have two different warm water and cold water meeting, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think this is first piece of evidence that governing is going to be harder for Donald Trump than he thought it would be when 37 members of his own party vote against him. And number two is what happened to the Republicans being the party of fiscal restraint. I mean, Donald Trump wanted a 2-year suspension of the debt ceiling, which, if I have that right, means that for 2 years they could spend as much money as they wanted. So, there's all sort of cross currents and surprises in this, but not what I would have expected. I would have expected right after the election they all would have gotten into lockstep on something.
That's
and
not
they
a
didn't.
bad talking point, but the reality is that cap is being used to dictate other kinds of politics. So it tactically is smart, and it's really not about fiscal restraint.
So
you're right. It's not
could
about
you
fiscal
imagine
restraint.
if a Democrat had proposed getting a 2-year? I mean, come on. You guys would be coming unwound if Biden had asked for a 2-year suspension of the debt
you know very
ceiling.
well, because you are someone who has many times done the right thing when it wasn't popular. To that regard, we got to get past when Republicans take a stand and take an issue like that. Let them go. The same thing with Democrats. When either party is willing to stand up for the right thing, stuff gets done.
Okay, but here's the reporting, just now currently in the Washington Post. And it says, Johnson appears to have split the debt ceiling question from the struggle to keep the government open. And we're at, less than 12 hours at this point, right? Instead of acting on it now, he proposed a handshake deal with fiscal hawks in his own party to try next year to slash mandatory spending, programs such as Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, Veterans Health, food stamps by at least $2.5 trillion, while raising the debt cap by $1.5 trillion, according to people familiar with the deals. Well, I don't even know if I can get my hands around all of that, but obviously that's going to become very difficult with a president that said he's not going to touch Social Security or Medicare, right?
Well, and
I mean, you have to touch those programs if you really want to reduce the spending. That's the challenge here.
Okay, but here's the thing. Reducing spending and getting rid of the debt are two different things. Cutting Medicare does not reduce the debt. I mean, I hate to say it, but I agree with Donald Trump on this.
It's off budget.
This is Medicare. Those spending programs have nothing to do with the debt. So why are we, just cutting spending for the sake of cutting spending shouldn't be the
No, but what's
going
to be interesting here is Elon Musk does want to cut the deficit. Donald Trump in his term ran up $7 trillion in debt. He doesn't care about the deficit one way or the other. Watching the dynamics between those two guys, I'm going to get some popcorn and a soda to watch that.
Okay, but you guys love to play this little game with how much spending. A good portion of that was tax cuts for the American people, like putting more money into people's
now deficits
pockets.
don't matter?
No, I think deficits
pressure on
matter.
spending. The whole point is Republicans cut taxes.
Where were the spending cuts?
Under Donald Trump? What did you want done in COVID?
I mean,
where did all that money go to?
Where were the spending cuts under Donald Trump? He ran up supposedly.
It all went to,
supposedly
Sherr.
with this tax bill, all the revenue was going to come in and pay for it. Didn't turn out to be that way. Responsible thing, if you're a Republican, which I am not, if you're a fiscal hawk, was to offset those with cuts. Right. He didn't. He ran up
I don't disagree with all
$7 trillion in debt.
Right. The excuse, I don't agree with the number because of the tax cut, but look, the excuse is because of the pandemic. The truth of the matter is, I have to agree with Rainford that the Republicans have not been, all of a sudden this is about fiscal responsibility. There's been consistent members of Congress with these issues, but not all members of Congress, right?
The entire country has gotten used to spending debt, and to that regard, there's going to have to be some real restraint. And I think Musk is looking at the big picture. I think it is a breath of fresh air when we have been, for about the last 10 years, running incredible deficits up. Both parties, everybody's been responsible for it. No one's wanted to take accounting for it. And Trump, by his appointment, has put his marker down of what he's planning to do.
But do you think that this is why I want to have some popcorn to watch it? Do you think Donald Trump is going to let Elon Musk eclipse him as far as anything is concerned?
Time will tell. Neither you or I know the answer to that, but I
he's
will
never
tell you
done
this.
it before.
Look, he hasn't, but I
don't think Donald Trump has to allow it. I think he just sort of does it because
but
he's
when
Elon.
Donald Trump says, let's have a 2-year...
this Donald Trump is not the old Donald Trump.
I agree with that, by the way. But when he says we're going to have a 2-year suspension of the debt ceiling, that's not what Elon Musk said. Elon Musk said vote against that bill. He took the opposite position.
This is a very strong and independent cabinet, but Donald Trump is the guy that makes decisions today. No one doubts that he has the ability to fire people because he does it.
That's why.
But look, this cabinet is unique. I don't know if everybody's noticed this, but he has brought in the group of the largest influencers in the world. Elon Musk, others have their own followings. They have power in themselves that people in their position never had. I think it's an interesting dynamic, and I think it's a new model of the future for Republicans. Forget mainstream media. I'm going to bring people that are influencers that have their own networks. I don't need the mainstream media. That is an interesting strategy. We'll see how it plays out. But it's
it's no better than the progressives. Let's just experiment on the American people. I mean, I am so tired of everybody saying they have the silver bullet. You know what? You have to cut spending. You know, that's just reality.
But what people don't like this week, and this is where you guys are all insiders, so you know budgets, you know how this works, and it gets out of control. But what people don't like to see is we voted for fiscal responsibility. That was part of the election. It wasn't all of the election. It was big, right? Economics, people suffering, all of that. But you do have a situation in this where there's spending that just looks outrageous to people. You see $600 million for this and, $1 billion for that. You don't know all the particulars. Certainly the lawmakers don't know all the particulars because it's a 1,500-page bill and they don't read it. So then somebody goes through it like Vivek, who did, and says, look at all this crap that's not emergency spending. No one in this country would oppose North Carolina and Florida and hurricane victims from getting disaster relief. But what they don't like to see is a bunch of the nonsense that is really defined more as pork.
Mark, how much have we seen in St. Louis is sitting on how many millions of dollars they can't even spend or give away? And what
Hundreds
they have
of
done
millions.
is an embarrassment, and that's in every city in the country almost.
So there's two different things here. There's the point Jane made, which is actually really getting rid of deficits is going to be super hard, painful, and highly unpopular. That's one thing. Getting rid of waste, fraud, and mismanagement, everybody agrees, but there's not enough, not even close to enough waste, mismanagement, and fraud to get rid of the debt and the deficit. There will have to be
I would agree with that.
hard
Yes.
I mean, David, you should know better.
We don't have
decisions
the
will have to
money.
be
We
made.
can't spend it. Look, guys, at the time that both parties stand up and say debt's a problem, we're going to have to cut back, will be a great day for both. But so far, one party wants to take advantage of the other. Look at cities. Cities, their infrastructure funding is cut back. They've been building infrastructure for 50 years. They want to fund every park program, every cute little program they can, but they can't fund their infrastructure. Whether you're a city, whether you're a state, or you're the federal government, we are all way past our financial means, and there is a reckoning that is going to hit our children and grandchildren unless we act now and unless both parties agree that we have.
And I will be shocked and surprised if Donald Trump leads on what you just said, because he's never shown any indication in the past that he thinks that that's a thing.
And David,
I
we worked together when I was in the governor's office. And my guy did the right thing. He made the cuts.
He did.
And what happened to him?
Got voted out of office.
Boom.
I'm telling you, it's unpopular.
Because the Republicans said, you're a jerk, and give the money back to the kids. He withheld money for fiscal responsibility.
Simple. You know very well, especially you had
He
allies
cut more
in the
than any
Senate.
governor.
You had allies in the Senate.
On the mic, Dave. Be
stick
careful with
with
the mic there.
Yeah. No, I mean, we had some people, the fiscal hawks, but we had people screaming at him during the State of the State saying, give the money back to the schools, when he had withheld it to make sure the state could pay its bills by the end of the year. And that got shoved up his.
Well, the other thing that happens when
But Jane, that's
not
myopic.
easy.
You know very well you had half that building that was in step with him trying to help him do that.
Yep.
And there was one or two personalities that was, which I'm not going to name names, but there's always going to be political opportunities.
Well, but let's bring it where we are right now. One thing that I have to agree with, and this is, Barclay, I'll ask you this question. We get to 2 years from now, right after the midterms, right? You think there will be significant deficit reduction from this administration?
Yes.
I hope so, because I do think waste, fraud, and abuse everyone should agree on, and there's going to be
I hope
things
they
that are
audit the
gonna
heck
fuck up.
out of every dime
100%.
that was sent to these cities. They need to hire I don't know, 500 auditors
that's a great
to come
question.
in and audit every dime of that federal money that was spent.
There is no president in history that I can think of that has less to lose than Donald Trump in the next 4 years. He is, by every means, politically expendable. He doesn't have to worry about his popularity afterwards.
He's lame duck.
He has money. He can do anything. And here's the problem. The Democrats are going to focus all their resources in the media on him because they can't help themselves, while the rest of the party is going to grow and come along. I think the midterms are going to be at best even. I mean, for the Democrats, and most likely be good for the Republicans.
Oh, my God.
And I think we're going to see Republicans for the next 8 to 12 years.
Even as bad as the Democrats are doing right
that
now.
down.
We're not going to start arguing about the midterms now, are we? I shouldn't have brought them up. See, I shouldn't have brought that up.
You remind me if we're both
write it down
on this show in 2
Mark
years.
the tape.
Hold me accountable.
But I think even as rough as the Democrats are, the Democrats need a large reckoning about how they're going to go forward.
Well, we were talking about this a little bit at lunch, Jeff, and you still are of the opinion, and I was reading a column by Rye Tixera this morning, I think you even said you're reading a book. There are Democrats out there that have been preaching about this to their party for a while and how, they're off track with the American people. But I still see a lot of folks out there, including the leader in the House, Hakeem Jeffries, kind of in denial about a lot of these things.
Well, there's two different issues here. The Republicans are in charge, so if they blow it, all the Democrats have to do is stay out of the way for the midterms. Right. But when we do get to the presidential election, Democrats are going to have to get their act together, as Jane said. And to me, this is a way oversimplification. But we, as Democrats, decided to walk away from the working class. And mostly working class whites, but it turns out we also turned off working class African Americans and Hispanics. Mm-hmm. So if the Democratic Party first of all, I think the Republicans will blow it, not because of anything other than both parties have not demonstrated any ability to win the midterms. They will blow it if we just stay out of their way. But if we want to earn back the trust of the American people, we have to again at least care about the working class of all races. And that's the biggest. And we made a bunch of other mistakes, including the cultural stuff, the cultural stuff. But walking away economically or turning our backs economically in the middle class was the biggest of probably 10 catastrophic mistakes.
Right. I mean, focusing on 1/10% of the population at the expense of everyone else. Caring more about criminals than taxpayers.
Well, you guys are good at that, though.
There's underlying matrices in almost everything. You can look at what happened with the murder of the United Healthcare executive, and unlike the Unabomber, this guy has a fairly well articulated manifesto that actually is resonating among people. Not that it justifies what happened, but their frustration with healthcare and the denial process and everything else. The American people across the board are fed up with what institutions have been doing, with immigration, with debt spending, with the absolute incompetence. Government used to be able to deliver well. Now they don't even do that, and they're taking our money. To that regard, I don't know if Trump can do any harm considering what Biden did. I know that sounds overpartisan, but guys, immigration, what's happened there, Trump alone on that issue will be able to perform in a way that the American people adopt.
First of all, by the way, dismantling the government will take skill and knowledge and experience, and I don't know that he has it. But take inflation, which was the two cornerstone issues were the border and inflation. Now he's talking about policies that are going to add to inflation, particularly when he's talking about tariffs. And so I think, between the conflict between him and Musk over the size of the deficit, the conflicts between the old-fashioned Wall Street Republicans and him over tariffs. Yeah, I don't see
Elon Musk versus, I'm going to point a secretary who's a transgendered orange-haired person that doesn't show up. My God, you can't.
David, what's going to happen in the midterms is people aren't going to look back at 4 years before and compare, just like they did in this election. They didn't remember about Trump. They're going to look 2 years from now about whether Trump is controlling the border and whether he's got inflation under control. That's what they elected him to do.
Hang tight. We got one more segment of the Reardon Roundtable coming up.
Santa be in trouble if there's no Jimmy in the house. They call me Santa Santa. I make that.
The Reardon Roundtable on 97.1 FM Talk.
I make all the little girls happy. Whoa, all the boys are out there.
Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Things are slow going in 170 southbound getting into Page with a crash reported, and then another delay that goes from about Forest Park Parkway down to 64. 64 westbound, heavy from Kings Highway over to Big Bend, and then you get a 67 over to 270. On your eastbound side, slow from 170 to Big Bend as well, and not much on 270 besides the southbound delay that takes you from Olive down to 64, and then 55 through the work zone, some delays that take you from about Weber Road down to Lindbergh. The northbound side seems to be hanging in there, but it does have that road work. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Sponsored by Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills. Jewels on Hampton pays some of the highest prices for your diamonds, semi-precious colored gems, gold, coins, precious metals, collectibles, sports memorabilia, and more. Shop Jewels on Hampton for the perfect gift. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton Avenue in St. Louis Hills.
This holiday season, save $30 on the GTA 26 handheld garden pruner. Now just $149.99. Visit your local Steel dealer today or shop online at steelusa.com. Offer valid for a limited time, only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. A stunning diamond pendant, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer. Or maybe you're looking for that perfect gemstone piece or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have hundreds of styles that are ready to be wrapped and put under the tree. No need to wait for shipping. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Or for some fabulous ideas before you head to the store, see the online seasonal gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
The election is finally over. Now you can get the cash you need. This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. Did you know that today the average homeowner has over $200,000 in equity? Imagine what you could do with just $50,000 of that equity. Pay off your credit cards, do home improvements, or even pay off your auto loans. Golden Oak's mortgage rate is 5.25%. We have no fee to apply and no out-of-pocket costs. If you call today, you can get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments until next year. Don't forget our appraisal guarantee. If for any reason your loan doesn't close, we will pay for your appraisal. Call today and take advantage of our 5.25 fixed rate. But don't wait, this rate won't last forever. Call 314-567-GOLD. That's 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
6.19 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Cardinals ticket packs are on sale now and feature 2025's highest demand games and giveaways. Choose from the opening day pack, the bobblehead pack, the Sunday pack, and more. New for 2025, check out the Flex Pack. Starting at just 3 games, this option allows you to build your own pack. As a special bonus, all Cardinals ticket packs include cards cash loaded right into the barcode of your ticket and ready to spend on concessions and more. For all the details, visit cardinals.com/holiday.
Cardinals single game tickets for the 2025 season, including opening day, are on sale now, just in time for the holidays. Give the gift of family time, date nights, or hanging out with your friends under the stadium lights. The 2025 schedule is filled with great matchups, including weekends with the Dodgers, Yankees, Cubs, and more. The promo schedule is packed with fan favorites, too. There's something for everyone in the 2025 season, so get your tickets now at cardinals.com/holiday.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Monday, Donald Trump's already beating Congress, and he's not even in office yet. We'll talk it over with our friend Jessie Jane Duff at 8:20.
The Mark Cox Morning Show. Weekdays from 5 to 9. Right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, we have Jane going to hang out in the next hour. We'll have some fun stuff with Ethan doing Sue's News this afternoon, and the one, the only Alexa Reardon, Jane, doing the random fact of the day this afternoon. How about that? Looking forward to that here in just a little bit. David Barklage is on the panel as well. Also, Jeff Rainford. Jane, I was just I just handed you this statement from Wesley Bell. We started with the news that the governor and his side sort of won this argument over who the next prosecutor would be. So Wesley Bell issued a statement. Is there anything from that you see that's interesting to relate to the audience?
I mean, it's kind of interesting. He said, well, I always wanted somebody from my office to get the job. And while I agree with Dr. Page, the court is in fact, qualified for this job. I'm all good. And then he said, so, quit telling everybody I'm colluding with him. Like, why would you say that?
Didn't he say it's appealing?
Contrary
he
to
wants it
unfounded speculation about collusion between the county executive and myself on the appointment. Why would he say this?
Hang on, Jeff. I don't have your mic on.
Democratic elected official?
It sounds like...
I didn't stop beating my wife. I mean, right. I stopped beating my wife.
That's today. He doesn't have to worry about today. He has to worry about 2 years from now.
The collusion is about the indictment. So, I find that he doesn't refer to that. He doesn't refer to the indictment of the county clerk.
He's feeling the heat.
He's feeling the heat big time, and he stepped in where he shouldn't have. He should have just gone to D.C.
I don't get it. Right. Why not just start
no
your term in Congress and
whatsoever.
put this behind you? And people are hoping that you're going to be different than Cori Bush.
Sometimes politicians misread the winds, and he thought the wind was with Sam, and now it's becoming evident to him that the wind is not with Sam, and he's like, I'm getting away from that.
Why make a statement that points to the fact that you lost?
Because he's 2 years from an election.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
he's going to be consistently in an election cycle.
Because I'm telling you, Cori Bush is coming back after him in 2 years, and it's unlikely that the national Jewish folks are going to put another $10 million in that race. So he needs to be running now.
So that is an expectation that she would just run again in a couple of years?
Yeah.
Jane,
sure.
You think she will? Oh, my
sure.
God.
Why?
Of course.
What's the downside?
Well, I would welcome her with open arms.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Please,
David,
come back.
she's the gift that keeps on
3
giving.
people showed up to her.
I
like her
speech.
personally.
3 people.
I do.
You like her personally?
I do.
Well, she does believe what comes out of her mouth, which not every politician does. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that what comes out of her mouth isn't nonsense.
Oh, there's another statement from our new congressman.
Oh.
Yes. Wesley Bell's statement on public speculation.
Oh.
It is disappointing and inappropriate for public officials to make public comments on evidence or matters they have not seen. Every defendant has a right to their day in court, and anyone charged will have theirs. So
That's
are
about
you
the
charging?
clerk?
It's got to be. What else is it?
Right.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Barklage, the folks at PolitiFact have picked their lie of the year. It's quite comical because the lie of the year is Donald Trump during the debate talking about eating the dogs and eating the cats. There actually is a little bit of a kernel of truth to that because they were eating the geese, certainly, in Springfield, Ohio. But don't you think there are several candidates that could have eclipsed that lie of the year, like the president's not dropping out, the president's fine, the president's not going to pardon Hunter Biden? There's a whole host of them that would appear in the power rankings a lot higher than that one.
It is evidence that the press will not let it go. They will focus on the wrong things, helping Donald Trump's popularity and undermining their credibility. And look, our office was tracking that story. Everybody saw it that day. It was very likely to get into the debate. There were other stories about them killing an American bald eagle and being charged with it in Oklahoma and eating it. And the point is that it wasn't beyond credibility. And for them to impeach that shows they're biased. And again, the press every time miscalculated.
Seriously saying that, first of all, who said that this was the lie of the year?
PolitiFact. They're very biased.
I don't even know what that is.
Well, they're.
I don't even know what that is. But there's 2 separate things here. One is Donald Trump lies even when he doesn't have to lie, and he just is a liar. But number 2 is, and this is also true,
Jeff, he likes to weave. He doesn't lie.
No, he
lies.
Weaves. Number 2 is the Democrats did cover up and did deny that Joe Biden was senile when he was. I was on this show saying everybody who has eyes and ears knows he's senile, and they were in denial until it was basically too late. Both of those are true.
Well, we found out that in pretty detailed reporting in the Wall Street Journal yesterday, and I don't know why nobody else is doing this reporting, but it was pretty serious.
Because the American people saw it, and everybody.
But Jeff,
there's nobody who doesn't think he's senile
at this point. But you have to remember, you had people in June saying, "Oh, this guy is fine."
Everything. So and guess what? Because of that, we lost an election.
Right, but
if they had said 2 years ago when Jane and I were on the show saying this guy's he's done what he needs to do, get him out of the way, and let's have a process.
A failure
we might
of
not
the
have
press
lost.
to
I agree with you.
I
think it is a big part of the
failure
wasn't the only
of the
thing,
press
but...
to hold either side accountable is a major problem. But here's the story that we're not talking about. Okay, we know the president's, we know he's not going to show up. Where is the vice president? No one's even talking about her. Where has she been since the election?
I will tell you, I'm surprised.
I think it's a great question.
I'm shocked that you all are complaining about this because I wouldn't have done this if I were the president and the vice president, but they basically ceded the stage to Donald Trump. He gets a running start. If I were you guys, I'd be delighted, not complaining.
Well, people like Dick Cheney and others, they stepped up. If they thought the president was in trouble, what happened to her?
What by the way, what will happen to her?
Nothing.
I mean, she's not going to be a governor of California, right?
Dick Cheney?
No. Not Dick Cheney. Kamala.
Oh, Kamala Harris.
Where does she go? What does she do?
She'll go.
Is she going to run again?
She'll go teach somewhere or go on Wall Street or make a lot of money.
Right. Jeff was distracted looking at the Trump signed Bible and wanting to get his in line before the 1,000.
Well, no, I want a signed one.
I'll get you one. That'll be your Christmas present.
Wow.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up here, and we'll try to do it on a very positive note because it is the holidays. Does everyone have wonderful Christmas plans for next week? We're all ready for the holidays. I'm working on Monday and Tuesday, but we're not going to do anything real hardcore. It's going to be fun stuff and entertainment and music and things like that. So we're going to segue into the holidays. So this is it. This is wrapping up the political year of 2024. It's been a crazy one. We would all admit that. We have, David, a new administration in Jefferson City about to take over with Mike Kehoe, and I think some big hopes for him as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, very talented, a lot of hope. Mike is, a retail guy. I think he cares about people. He cares about governing. But I think the bigger picture is I think it's time for the American people to take stock this holiday of what we do have, not what we don't, and to try to work together, see the bigger picture, and try to make the country a better place for everybody. And
this is where I agree with you that Trump has changed, because there are things that I've heard in answers to questions where he seems very focused on actually doing something and not just on himself, which he's pretty good at, and we know that. So I don't know. Maybe I'm naive, Jane. Well, yeah, I think he is a little less petty. I don't know if it was the bullet to the ear or what, but I do think it's something that has evolved.
Do any of us really want him to fail?
No.
And that's the core. All I'm just saying is that I have had the opportunity to get to know Jeff Rainford, who was the mad dog of City Hall, the partisan Democrat. I have learned a lot from him. Jane, when we worked together, getting stuff done. I'm telling you, there's a lot of good out there. It's sad those stories aren't told, but I believe in people. I believe in this country, and I believe that we've got a lot before us that we should be very
Listen, I was
for.
a guy for 2 years who said Donald Trump is not a threat to democracy, that's all and by the way, I do believe that there were Democrats who believed it. I don't believe he's a threat to democracy. I do think his next 4 years will likely be shambolic, but I think he will be kind of a run-of-the-mill, mediocre president, and everything will be just fine. The country will
We
be
shall
fine.
see. Rainford, Merry Christmas. Thank you for coming
Merry
in.
Christmas.
David Barklage. Hey, did you pay for lunch today? Thanks for that, too. I appreciate it. Jane's going to hang out. We're coming back with more.
Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
We're seeing some delays if you're headed on 270 on your southbound side, pretty much from Olive down to 64. Southbound side of 170 is tight from 340 on down to 64. 64 westbound Kings Highway over to Big Bend, some delays. Your eastbound side hits the brakes at 170 to Big Bend as well. And no problems on 44 to speak of. Southbound side of 55, really your only other delay is going to take you from past Weber to about Lindbergh. Your northbound side is in good shape. This report is sponsored by GHR Contracting. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Not many window companies do egress windows. Those are the ones used in basements or floors with no emergency exit. GHRcontracting.com. We offer same-day install and financing 0% for 18 months, and there's no hassle with price negotiation. Get an upfront quote on the phone. GHRcontracting.com.
How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2. Have a plan to get there. Step 3. Make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all three with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
The current federal government is actually going $1 trillion deeper in debt every 100 days. That's why thousands are turning to Goldco, a top-rated gold company, to diversify their savings with time-tested safe haven assets, physical gold and silver. Right now, not only is Goldco offering a free gold and silver kit, but on qualified purchases, they'll give you up to a 10% instant match in bonus silver. Call 855-838-GOLD. That's 855-838-GOLD. Performance may vary. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been hurt on the job, you don't need the biggest law firm. You need the best. Onder Law, voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis, is the insurance company playing games, trying to deny the medical treatment you need, refusing to pay your lost wages. Let Onder Law fight for the benefits you deserve. Injured on the job? Call Onder Law for free. 314 or 618-9-million. That's 314 or 618-9, all zeros.
Tune in to the Home Improvement Show, sponsored by Mosby Building Arts, Saturdays 12 to 1 p.m. on 97.1 for expert advice on remodeling, design, and construction. This live Q&A show begins at noon, or find podcasts at mosbybuildingarts.com.
This is Chad Clayman with ClaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com, where we buy property in as-is condition. Are you wanting to sell your property, but you don't want to deal with the stress? Many times people sell to us because they want to be a less stressed seller and they want to simplify their solution. We can provide a flexible closing date on your sale, and we can make it easy to sell your property. We can guarantee we'll give you our best offer possible to make a win-win situation. If you have a house you want to sell, simplify your sale, KLAMEN Group.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Onder Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A suspected attack on a Christmas market on Lisa Brady. The German state governor now reporting at least 2 people killed and at least 68 injured after a car drove into a group of people shopping in the eastern German city of Magdeburg.
Officials say they have the suspected driver in custody, adding they believe the individual identified as a doctor from Saudi Arabia acted alone, and they feel there is not an ongoing threat. The incident comes 8 years after an Islamic extremist drove through a Christmas market in Berlin, killing 13 people and injuring dozens of others.
Fox's Christian Goodwin, today's crash not yet confirmed as a terror attack. A shutdown showdown not over yet on Capitol Hill, where Congress has 7 hours left to avoid shutting down the government.
House Speaker Mike Johnson won't telegraph details, but tells reporters Republicans are unified around a new plan to extend government funding and provide disaster relief.
We will meet our obligations for our farmers who need aid, for the disaster victims all over the country, and for making sure that military and essential services and everyone who relies upon the federal government for a paycheck is paid over the holidays.
Any measure passing ahead of tonight's midnight deadline would likely need significant buy-in from Democrats. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says it's up to the Speaker to fix a problem created when he walked away from a bipartisan spending agreement.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. The original deal collapsed under pressure from Elon Musk and President President-elect Trump pushing for less spending and suspension of the debt limit, but a plan including that was voted down last night. Now, just getting word, a new stopgap bill is expected to head to a vote at this hour, a proposal that would temporarily fund the government and includes farm and disaster relief, but would not raise the debt ceiling. But again, it needs 2/3 House support to move on to the Senate, which would mean support from Democrats who favored the original proposal. America's listening to Fox News.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
You okay?
I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
A mix of clouds and sunshine with a big deal this afternoon. It's cold out there, and it stays a little bit on the windy side. 34 for the high. You get caught out in the wind, it's going to be a little nippy. Tonight, some clouds will drop back to 25, so not a big temperature drop. Saturday, sunny and 37. Sunday, sunny and 41. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
I'm Chad Robinson with Your Money Now. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is suing the operator of Zelle and the 3 U.S. banks that dominate transactions on it. The agency alleges that the firms failed to properly investigate fraud complaints or give victims reimbursements. On Wall Street, stocks were higher, with the Dow gaining 498 points, the S&P 500 and NASDAQ all growing more than 1%. Shares of Danish pharmaceutical giant Novo Nordisk dropped more than 24% after reporting results in a late-stage trial for its experimental CagriSema weight loss drug that missed expectations. Frito-Lay is recalling a limited number of 13-ounce bags of Lay's classic potato chips due to the product might contain undeclared milk. The FDA says the product was sold in stores and online in Oregon and Washington. U.S. crude oil futures for January delivery are up slightly today to under $70 a barrel. That's Your Money Now.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts.
Prescription products require completion of an online medication consultation with an independent healthcare provider through the LifeMD platform and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Individual results may vary. Additional restrictions apply at lifemd.com. Read all warnings before using GLP-1s. Side effects may include a risk of thyroid C-cell tumors. Do not use GLP-1s if you or your family have a history of thyroid cancer.
Should GLP-1 weight loss medication like Wegovy and Zepbound cost hundreds of dollars? We don't think so. TryLifeMD.com helps provide insurance access to the leading GLP-1 medications. Visit TryLifeMD.com to get your free insurance benefits check and see your eligibility in minutes. Listen to Tara's story after losing 42 pounds.
You just take your shot. It doesn't feel like you're on a diet. What I wasn't expecting it to do was to shut off the food noise. I'd gone from 237 to 195. This was life-altering, and if I can do it, I feel like anybody can do it.
Get started right now with your free insurance benefits check and see your eligibility for coverage in minutes at trylifemd.com. That's TRYLIFEMD.com.
Hey, St. Louis, are you in search of top-notch cybersecurity solutions? Look no further. ThrottleNet is here to help. Ransomware attacks are on the rise, putting businesses like yours at risk. Don't let cyber criminals jeopardize your hard-earned success. ThrottleNet provides comprehensive cybersecurity services tailored specifically to your unique needs. Our award-winning customer service provides 24/7 protection to keep your data safe and secure. Take charge of your digital security today. Protect your business, protect your future. ThrottleNet.com, your reliable partner in cybersecurity.
In Missouri, farming isn't just a profession, it's a purpose. You can feel it in our 27 million acres of farmland. You can see it in the nearly 41,000 Missourians who work in agriculture. You can hear it at our farmers markets. You can count it in the $93.7 billion it brings our state. And you can taste it at your family's dinner table. A lot of farmers in our state rely on Bayer's tools and inventions because Bayer has a purpose too, to help farmers thrive. Learn more at go.bayer.com/purpose. Paid for by Bayer.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
All right, this is a musical selection by Alexa Reardon this afternoon. You ready? Here we go.
Sleigh bells ring. Are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight. We're happy tonight. Walking in a winter wonderland.
All right, Alexa, who is that? You know who that is, right?
Snoop Dogg and Anna Kendrick.
So this is Anna Kendrick's part here. It's pretty good. Where did you hear this song? You played this for me the other night in the hot tub. I did not know this song.
Pitch Perfect in school.
Okay, so it was in Pitch Perfect.
Pitch
Which
Perfect
one?
2.
Pitch Perfect
2?
2?
Yeah, Pitch Perfect 2.
That's Ethan, who will do Ethan's
movies.
news in for Sue. But Ethan, you do not have to do a random fact this afternoon. Alexa is tackling the random fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have two versions of it, actually. She has one that is recorded. She didn't know if she wanted to do the recorded one, but it's a little lengthier. But there's a shorter one as well. Do you know which one you're picking yet?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell me?
Yes. A volcano.
What? No. I just mean, are you doing the one that's recorded or the one that's that? That one?
This one.
Okay,
yeah.
but you got to wait till the end of Susan. Oh, my God, we almost threw the audience off. They wouldn't know how to handle this going into the weekend.
No, it would be too much.
We would have had to go to break right there.
I think we would have. So I just wanted to throw this in because I always have been, ever since my son, Evan, who's in Houston right now, who has the grandchild. When he was born, I remember, I always tell this story. Before I moved to Milwaukee, in May of 1997, when he was born, I was up doing some of the feedings while now it's my ex-wife, was sleeping. And Conan O'Brien was on it. And one time he said, it's like the only people watching right now, and this is at the beginning days where he was all chalky and he looked awkward.
Yeah.
Like he was welcoming people doing late night feedings to the show. And I'm like,
Nice.
That's me. I'm the guy.
He's talking to me.
But he was always one of my favorites because he was, and the show was bad then, and I think he would admit it, but he was just himself, and he really grew on me, and I was a big fan. But this is a little sad, but also heartwarming, if you will. He lost both of his parents, and it was one of those situations where they died right after one another. So his mom, and by the way, his mom was Ruth Reardon. I didn't know that. Ruth Reardon O'Brien died at age 92 the other day. And then Thomas O'Brien passed away on December 9th at the age of 95. And he was quoted, he did an interview with the Boston Globe. He said, I think what my mother and father saw in each other was what they were kindred spirits. They were incredibly hardworking and disciplined. And I didn't know this, but his dad was an epidemiologist and a Harvard professor who co-founded the World Health Organization's Collaborating Center for the Surveillance of Antimicrobial Resistance. Fit that on a business card, right? Wow. And one of the things that his dad, and I love this, and don't get any ideas here, okay, because I don't have the money to do this, but his dad, he says, took him on a trip to South America when he was in 7th grade and kind of pulled him out of school. And he said, you're going to learn more traveling through these various neighborhoods and cities in South America for, a week and a half than you will in public school in Brookline. And that's probably true, I think, right?
Experiential learning.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that was that's just rather sad. He's just kind of reflecting on his mom and dad.
But you know what? I mean, they were together so long.
Oh my gosh, can you think about it?
They were not going to, that's very common.
It is
spouses,
common. Yeah. Especially at that age, right?
Yeah, but it's sad for him.
It is, especially just a few weeks before Christmas. But you can understand.
Yeah.
You almost understand how it happens, right?
Circle of life.
But this is a little bit more cheery. And this is for producer emeritus Dave Klein, who, of course, is no longer with us. However, I will say this.
Well, not working here.
He's not on the
don't
payroll.
say no longer with us. That close to an obituary of other people.
He's alive.
Dave didn't pass? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Dave is alive.
Dave's no longer on the show.
Right, and he's thriving.
Because, we have George Gray coming in on Monday for The Price is Wrong, I tasked Dave with coming up with some of the items because we want Ethan to play because Fred's not going to be here. Does that make sense? Fred won't be here, so Sue will be here, Ethan will be here, I'll be here. Yeah. We'll all play. So Dave put together some topics. But I thought of Dave because I don't even know who this guy is. Do you know who the comedian is, Ethan? Because I sent this to you on the Hallmark stuff.
I have no idea.
It's pretty funny. He's doing his bit. Now, there's a visual aspect of this because he's basically standing in front of, what would you call it? Like a screen that's got all the bullet points up there. But just listen. He's essentially encapsulating what it takes to put a Hallmark movie together, right? So listen to this.
I figured out every Hallmark movie. I figured out the formula. I've created a Hallmark generator to generate any Hallmark Christmas movie.
A generator.
Essential elements and 10 categories in every of those elements.
All right, here we go.
Okay, the lead is one of these things. An event planner, a real estate person, a nanny maid, an interior designer, a baker chef, an executive, a romance writer, a famous actress, singer, a shop owner, or a vice columnist. That's it. That's all there are. And they are one of these places. The location is New York, for Station City, back in time. North Pole, town with a Christmas name, small town in New York, small town in Colorado, small town in Vermont, small town in Maine, or small town in snow. That's it. That's all the possibilities.
Yeah, that's the only locations that you usually have, right?
I can prove it to you. I put it in a slot machine, okay? I've loaded those into a slot machine. You spin the wheel, you can get any one. A nanny maid goes to a fictitious kingdom and meets a prince. Been done. Crowned for Christmas. Diana Keller, 2015. I rest my case.
He's got one more.
Let's do it again. I'm just going to prove to you it's true. I've loaded them all in there. A baker chef goes to a small town with snow and meets a high school flame. Swedish Christmas, Lacey Chabert, 2017. They're all in there.
Is that like I think that's the second Lacey Chabert reference in a couple of weeks, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, hey, she is a star of Hallmark.
She is.
There is nothing better than when you're putting furniture together and you're miserable, that you have that on in the background. And if you get up for an hour,
a few things.
If you get up for an hour, you come back in, and you could be in another movie, but you know exactly where you are, and it always ends
It's
the
comforting.
same.
Well, it's comforting.
Mark, your two worlds are colliding. I don't know if it's already released or if it's going to release, but Hallmark's releasing something to do with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's this weekend.
It's
Klein was talking. That's what he was talking about.
Yes, it's this weekend, I believe. Isn't it the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce kind of thing?
Basically.
Yeah.
But what I saw a clip of it to where the main character guy that plays for the Chiefs, the girls are talking about him, and they said he was a 9-time MVP. I was like, well, that's never been done in NFL history. So we're already sticking with the realistic here for Hallmark. So we're off to a great start.
You're just picky. You're just being picky, Ethan. Come on. Let's do this here this afternoon. Ethan's News. Now, Alexa Reardon, are you ready for the random fact?
Yes.
You got to do it when we ask you to do it, right? You almost did it too early, and then that would have blown up the whole show. I would have been crabby. Like, you know how I get home and sometimes it's funny. She detects this as soon as I walk in the door. Hey, Daddy. I'll say one word. Why are you crabby?
She knows.
I'm like, why are you stressed?
Yeah, usually I say it's because Ethan screwed up the show.
Usually
That's what
I say the same thing sometimes when he comes in. Like,
yeah, no, I know.
Why
you probably
crabby
do.
Today?
You didn't even hear my jab. I took a jab. I usually say it's when Ethan screws up the show.
I heard it.
Yeah, but that's not true.
No, he ignored you.
Let's do this here. Come on.
Allegations are deeply concerning.
Does the president have any comment?
We're not going to comment.
It's not clear messaging.
And now, Sue's News. Brought to you by Sue.
All right, so we've kept things pretty Christmassy here the past several days, and we're going to keep with that trend here. And it might be time to get a little bit of vulnerable, guys, because it's December 20th, which means that you have 5 days if you haven't picked up your last-minute gifts to do so. Is anyone not done with their Christmas shopping here?
I'm not.
Oh, Jane just raised her hand. I'm not either.
Alexa's not.
I still have 3 more gifts.
She does. Alexa has just a little bit more.
Have you gotten your dad a gift yet?
Yes.
Okay.
But you never
That's
can
good.
get too much for your dad. I just want you to know that. If you're going to expand the list, it would be on me, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can always add Jane.
No blues hats, though. No blues
I
hats.
told the story. Babe, I told the story.
I will never get him a hat again because the last time I got him a hat, he did not like it. I was like, yeah, no, it's not happening
That's a
anymore.
true story. I should share that on the air this week.
At least you were honest about it.
I know, but she didn't
Were you
care. I said
crabby?
I wanted to return it in exchange. She goes, no, you're going to wear it. I'm like, I'm not going to wear it because I don't like it. And then it's still sitting in the house, right?
So she'll wear it.
It's been a year. Yeah.
It has been a year.
So
you know, I have to still work on my wife's present. She told me this year what she wanted.
When you say work on, what do you mean?
Like
like start?
Well, yeah. Yeah, like start.
Because if that's the case, then we're in the same spot.
She said, the only thing I want from you, Fred, and I guess this is because of our age, is sort of like your advanced directives written down.
Oh.
And what you want to happen should something happen to you. I don't want any confusion with your family or anything of what we're going to do.
That's what she wants for Christmas?
Pretty
That
would
seems
make
more
her-
like a birthday thing.
do you want some help on that?
Yeah, Jane.
I would go. You can go to legal forms.
Estate planning.
Yeah, you can Google it, and they will have forms that you can fill in for an advanced.
Susan
directive.
O'Ward can help you out, too.
Yeah, advanced directive, Missouri. And if nothing else, it will allow you to get a list, and then you can get a lawyer to actually do it for you. But that will give you a list
Fred,
of what you care about.
can I have the Gilligan's Island stuff? Would you mind?
No, that's fine. You can have that.
I think I would be good for
What
that.
about the Sherlock Holmes
I would take
stuff?
care. No, I'm okay with that. I just want the Gilligan's Island
You
stuff.
want the Sherlock
I'd
Holmes
take
stuff?
Sherlock Holmes.
What about
in
the
a
Star
heartbeat.
Trek stuff?
No, I'm
That's
not.
not
I
me.
just
No,
want
that's
it.
Star
Okay.
Trek-y.
And my baseball stuff?
I might take some of the baseball
That's
stuff,
even
too.
I'm in on
better.
that.
That's
I'm
even-
in on
that's
that.
probably worth some stuff.
All right, good deal. All right, I'm done.
Well, I know
He's
that.
right. You know, here's a funny story, though. So, I honestly, hopefully my wife's not listening, but I mean, I hadn't done anything, right? I'm like, and I have ideas
So
and
we're
concepts.
3 for 3 in
No,
here.
wait. So yesterday, I was having a lunch with my friend Jeff Drew over at the MAC West, and I had like 90 minutes, and I go to West County Mall.
There you go.
And I mean, I flipping I get inspired. I get stuff. Alexa was on my list. Becky was on the list. A couple other people. And I mean, I had like 8 bags going. But this was funny. I'm in Lululemon, and there's a kid that comes in, and he's 19, probably 20. He goes to the girl. I almost wanted to say the same thing, by the way. He goes, yeah, I need to get something for my girlfriend. What should I get? You know,
that's what they're there for.
Oh, I know.
That's
I know.
beautiful.
Brother.
She
I
did
relate.
offer some good advice. Right.
That's,
Okay, so he wouldn't tell me where he was going, and now I know.
Yeah,
so
but I didn't
that's
get anything
amazing.
for you there. You didn't get anything at Lulu.
Burned.
You literally told me that you got me gifts.
I
so
did
that's
get you
not
gifts, but I
true.
didn't get you gifts there. No.
Not at Lululemon,
You don't
but
have
in
to.
the mall.
Hey, Lululemon does not sell little, pieces of coal, dude.
Oh,
okay, just so you know, they don't have that there.
wow. But I think Alexa's been good.
We'll
Airing out
see.
the dirty
She's
laundry
with
on
Jane.
air
We
here.
digress.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Wow.
right. You stick with me, honey. I'll get you through.
So I am here to help my friends that are still looking for gifts for their significant others, except for Fred. He sounds like he's already
He's wrapped
set.
it up.
And
That's a different one.
5 of the top ideas that are just as easy outside of gift cards that you can kind of like last minute be able
Okay.
to get
Bring it on.
for your people. So number 1, a digital product like an online course, a streaming subscription, or even a video game. Number 2,
love that.
An experience like concert tickets, tickets to an athletic event, a vacation, or any other future event.
Well, I'll take that.
And then just give them the person a printout of the tickets. Number 3, this one was kind of interesting, cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is hitting all-time highs, as we all know, and the new meme coins are always coming out. Apparently, this is news to me, Fartcoin is especially popular right now.
I don't even know what to say.
That's where we are right
That's
now.
all nonsense.
I don't even know what that is.
But you want to. I could see that your eyes lit
Yeah,
up
you
on
can
that
see
one.
the smile. Homemade coupons, that's a classic. And then photos of you together. So, I did get married this year, so I might have to stash that one away. Perhaps.
I think those are always nice gifts in a nice photo album or something.
Yeah,
Sure,
personal.
that's great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Fred, did you ever think though, Marie, if you want to do a combo deal, how about a cemetery plot? I mean, just go all the way. Right? Here's my last will and a cemetery plot for you,
the
Marie.
most depressing Christmas day
I mean-
ever in the bottom of our household.
And it's going to be gifted to you.
That's right.
Okay.
No.
No cemetery
liked it.
plots.
As we continue moving on in Ethan's news, listen, sometimes the villains can be the best parts of the movie. I feel like Mark probably likes the villains in a lot of movies.
Sometimes.
I don't know why.
He is the villain.
People,
Yeah.
maybe that's why he likes them. People magazine put together a list of the greatest Christmas movie villains of all time.
Oh, okay.
I'll start from 10 and I'll go to 1. Number 10, Jack Frost, Martin Short in the Santa Claus 3.
Okay.
Number 9 is Ebenezer Scrooge, which was played by George Scott in the 1984 TV movie A Christmas Carol.
Thought that'd be higher.
Yeah, this one I was surprised wasn't higher. Jim Carrey's The Grinch.
Yeah,
at number
that's.
8.
I mean, yeah, that should be higher.
Number 7, Harry and Marv, Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern from Home Alone. Number 6, Ted Moulton, Phil Hartman from Jingle All the Way. Number 5, Hans Gruber, played by Alan Rickman.
But there's the
Die Hard.
debate of whether it's a Christmas
Mhm.
movie.
Well, at least it's not like number 1.
Right.
Then it'd really
but
be a
that
strong
takes
debate.
up a spot. I'm not sure. Okay.
Number 4, Comet and the Abominable Snow Monster from Rudolph. the
Well,
Red-Nosed
duh.
Reindeer.
That's like
Yeah.
number 1.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
it
The
turns-
Abominable.
it turns good at the end.
I know, but he was the Abominable.
And I don't know who actually watches Santa Claus 3 because it's not a good movie.
Oh.
You can watch number
That-
one. You can watch the first movie. You can watch the second movie. You can watch the show. I don't care about any of those. But the third one, just no.
She
Go,
is
girl.
your daughter.
Go, girl.
Holy cow.
Spitting image.
Yep.
Holy
She's
moly.
very
It's
opinionated.
horrifying. Neighborhood bully Scott Farkas from A Christmas Story is number 3. That's
Okay.
a great
Okay,
one.
that's a good
that
one.
should rank
great
That's
high.
a good one.
Number 2,
Ooh, crowd wasn't
did
sure on
not
that
like
one, though.
that one. Number 2, Oogie Boogie from The Nightmare Before Christmas. I've never seen
No.
this movie, but
No.
I feel
Weak.
like that's a
That's
little
weak.
bit too high for that.
That's weak.
And then number 1, Mr. Potter,
Yes.
played by Lionel Barrymore from It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
that's
By
a
the way,
classic.
here I don't know if we can get some advice here, maybe from the room or from the audience. So, I one of my favorite movies is Scrooged with Bill Murray. I love it.
Oh, a great
And I want
movie.
Alexa to see that, but then she has no foundation for A Christmas Carol. She's never really seen A Christmas Carol.
Oh, she's got to see the original.
Well, right, but so which one is the most family friendly? When I was Googling it, one of the ones that came up is there's a Muppets version, but she.
I'm not watching
No.
that.
Why?
You are not
Why not?
ruining
There's-
my childhood.
There is one answer and one answer only.
Okay,
and
what
it's
is it?
become one of my favorite
Yes.
Christmas movies. It is Jim Carrey's version that released probably 2010ish. It is phenomenal.
Okay.
It
I'd go
is,
with the original.
yeah, it's animation, but it is
Jane,
it
the
is-
original, is it in color? She's 10
Yeah,
years old, okay?
that's the thing is like it's a great story, but I don't know if as
what was that, George C. Scott?
I don't know if I would have
mean-
been able to keep up with the plot at that age. Like for it's
Oh,
a-
and she's really smart.
Oh, I'm not.
She'd be
She's smarter
just
than I
fine.
was at her age, but yeah, the one with Jim Carrey is funny. I mean, you can hear the Grinch, kind of like that voice in some of the characters he plays. It's phenomenal. So I recommend that one.
But Scrooged is really good.
It's
It is
so
a
funny.
very underrated
I love it.
Christmas
Thank you,
movie.
Jane. I agree.
I love Scrooged. I do.
So
That's
anyway,
one of my
Karen
favorites.
Allen
take
is
a-
so good in it. It's in my
I mean-
probably my top 3. Elf, Scrooged, It's a Wonderful Life. There you
those
go.
Are, those
There's
are
my trifecta.
3 really good choices.
Little mini fun fact: Lionel Barrymore from It's a Wonderful Life is Drew Barrymore's great uncle.
Yes.
We knew that,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, that was okay. All right.
Lionel Barrymore. He was a mean man. I loved it though. He was
Okay,
a
we
good
continue moving on
Yes.
in Ethan's news. A huge holiday poll looked at all the various activities that we all have planned this month, and here's what Americans are doing for the holidays this year. 86% of us will celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, or another holiday or winter holiday. Duh. 87% will be celebrating with some sort of decoration. 75% Christmas music. 75% will watch at least one holiday movie. 70% plan to go look at lights. 60% hope to have at least one cup of hot chocolate. Has everyone done their hot chocolate?
down
I've
with
been
that.
doing
I
that
have
every
not.
night.
Not
Okay,
yet.
so
Yes.
me and Fred have not. So we need to
Lots
get
of
on that.
I'm
marshmallows.
working. I'm working on the eggnog.
So
Jane?
we're 3 out of 5.
And
We're
for
at
the
six-
holiday movie, I'm watching 7,000.
7,000 movies?
Yeah,
But
and
she
one.
she loves the marshmallows too. The marshmallows, right?
are everything.
Well, 3 out of 5, so we're at 60%. So
Okay,
we're
good.
we're
There
matching
you
up
go.
with that
Good
one.
math, Ethan.
yeah,
And then-
yeah, that's really good.
I
And then-
know.
then
Would
we-
have taken me a calculator.
Then we
Boy.
get below 50%. So 48% will attend at least one holiday party. 44% will send at least one card. 42% will attend a religious service. 22% hope to kiss someone under the mistletoe. 19% will build a snowman, 14% a snow angel. Most Christmas mornings will have fewer than 10 people in attendance. 39% said less than 5, so just immediate family, and 5% said more than 20. 2/3 of families will hang stockings for Santa to fill, and 45% will leave out milk and cookies on Christmas Eve.
So the 42% of on religious ceremony, that's interesting because I wonder what that would have been like 30 years ago. It had to have been higher, right? It had to be
absolutely.
60% is what I would guess.
I got 9 of those.
You have 9 of those?
That's a pretty good percentage. Yeah. Once again, 60%. Okay, we move on to birthdays. Not as many, actually. Just one today. It's Jonah Hill. We went from 8 of them 2 days ago, and I think we had 4 yesterday, and today it's just Jonah Hill, who turns 41. I figured he would be older than 41.
I can't believe he's 41, though.
He just looks older.
Well,
but yeah.
we started getting to know him when he was probably 25, right? If even that old.
It was younger than that.
Yeah.
He was in
Superbad.
Superbad. He was definitely younger
19
than
or something
Teenager,
like that.
yeah.
That's such a great movie.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Alexa, we should watch Superbad this weekend. That's a great Christmas movie.
Okay, tomorrow is one of my best friend's birthday.
You want to say happy birthday? Who is it?
Olivia.
Oh, happy birthday, Olivia.
Well,
I was
today
kidding
is-
about Superbad, by the way, in case the audience was
I
worried.
got a little
Right.
bit concerned.
Today is the future First Lady of Missouri's birthday. So happy birthday, Claudia Kehoe.
Nice.
Well, how about that? I'm trying to think. Wolf of Wall Street, 21 and 22 Jump Street, some of the big ones. He's in Moneyball. Moneyball, great movie.
Moneyball is a great movie.
Love that movie. So happy birthday, Jonah Hill. On this day in history, in 1820, this one was kind of funny. The state of Missouri imposed a $1 bachelor tax on single studs aged 21 to 50 in 1820.
That's kind of awesome. Can we reinstate that?
Yeah, no kidding.
That's great.
Did they actually use the word single studs, or did you just toss that in?
I tossed that one in.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. That was not in the official law. Okay, we
I
continue.
fell for it too, Fred.
Yeah.
So.
67 years ago, Elvis Presley was drafted. 38 years ago, Walk Like an Egyptian by the Bangles hit #1 on the pop singles. And 78 years ago, in 1946, It's a Wonderful Life premiered in New York.
Oh, nice.
And
All
now
right.
we move on to
Random fact.
the random fact.
All right,
Alexa
you ready,
Reardon, you ready?
Yeah.
You going to go with the live version here, not the recorded version?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're great.
It's all you.
Go, girl.
A volcano.
Wait, we got to get right into that microphone. You ready? Go.
A volcano once caused a whole summer without summer.
Really?
Wow.
Does it say where?
No.
It doesn't say where?
Wow.
I
so
imagine
no
probably
summer?
it was probably really dark. I imagine from like the ash and the
Yeah.
smoke.
I want to play your other one because I like your other one. Your other one is good. Can I do that?
Yeah.
All right, here's the recorded one because we thought this was interesting.
Bonus.
And it's about, I think I clear up, it's about a different country and continent, but bear with me here.
Hey, it's Alexa.
Oh, that's the wrong one. That's the promo. Where's the one?
That's right. That's right.
Oh,
It
it's on there
It
too?
starts with that. Yep.
Okay, hang on. This is the promo she did.
Alexa Reardon with the random fact of the
Oh, there
day.
it is. You're right. Oh, wait, we got to do that again. I forgot she did the big intro. She's doing flair here.
Hey, it's Alexa Reardon with the random fact of the day. Thomas Austin released 24 rabbits onto his estate. Those rabbits bred and bred and bred. Between 1901 and 1907, over 3,000 kilometers and 1,900 miles of fencing was built to stop the rabbits from spreading. The plan failed. The rabbits simply dug under the fence.
And it was in Australia, right?
Correct.
Do you know about the rabbit-proof fence? That's actually rabbit-proof fence is a good movie, but that is an interesting story. So that was the random
Wow.
fact. So we had a couple
Well
there.
done.
We did a bonus random fact. You did great job on
Great
both
job,
of them, Alexa.
The
Nice
promo
work.
was
job.
nails.
You can offer some more film opinions with Mr. Paul Hall, and he's coming up next.
Is the new bird. He sings a love song as we go along, walking in a winter wonderland. A beautiful sight, we're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland.
Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Oh, we've got a crash working on the southbound side of 270. This is at Page. It's in a right lane for you. You've got things heavy in that area. And then your northbound side past 64, you're seeing delays on 270. On 170 southbound Forest Park Parkway, take it pretty tight end to 64 south. Northbound side is hanging in there pretty good, too. Westbound side of 64, heavy from Kings Highway to Big Bend. On your eastbound side, you're going to take it from about McKnight over to Big Bend. No problems on 44 to report. You've got 55 southbound problems, and they begin and end between Weber and Lindbergh, but the northbound side is in decent shape. This report is sponsored by GL International Realty. Sell your home with trust, confidence, and written guarantees. Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty is St. Louis's real estate expert. Visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
We all know how important nutrition is to our health, and now is the time to do something about it. With Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin, you can give your body sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to support your daily health. Created by a St. Louis physician, Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin is formulated with our proprietary blend for daily support you won't find anywhere else. Best of all, you can get Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin delivered right to your door with our convenient monthly subscription. Go to neovitamin.com and sign up for a subscription today.
Season for Hardee's handcrafted goodness. Made from scratch buttermilk biscuits pulled fresh from the oven. The return of special traditions like salty sweet candied bacon. And faithful friends like Hardee's cinnamon raisin biscuits gathered near to us and served all day, all season long. From icing drizzled biscuits to savory charbroiled burgers, unwrap the holiday goodness of Hardee's. Find the best deals on the Hardee's app. Items available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
Hey, it's Annie with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage. We've been covering this, and interest rates here at the end of the year, we thought they'd be lower than they are right now. Stewie, is it still a good time to refinance?
Well, Annie, this is a discussion we've had with many, many people. They thought the interest rates would be much lower. Do they wait? Do they not wait? Well, take advantage now. This is a strange world that we're in. The climate can change, and all of a sudden interest rates are back up. Refinance now with the bagel loan. If they go down later, you can always do it again.
With the holiday season right now, how about getting cash out of all of that equity a lot of people see in their homes?
Oh, I have a great story for you. This couple over here, the husband went behind the wife's back, went ahead and did a cash out refinance. She didn't know what was going on. Took cash out to remodel their entire kitchen. Their payment went up $5 a month because they were at a higher rate. They went down to a lower rate. It was a great opportunity. She's going to have a great holiday.
That's amazing. Good husband. Good job this holiday season. If you want to reach out to Stewie, 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. You can Google the bagel loan for more information. And MLS number 226-715.
The T.R. Hughes Homes for the Holidays display and inventory sale is going on now through the rest of the year. Hi, I'm Jason Hughes with T.R. Hughes Homes, and we have several quick move homes ready for immediate move-in. Save up to $50,000 on a brand new move-in ready home in one of our 4 beautiful communities. Come see why T.R. Hughes is St. Charles and now Warren County's premier home builder. Move-in ready, up to $50,000 in savings just in time for the holidays. Visit trhughes.com for details. That's trhughes.com.
97.1 On Command. Just tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 FM Talk. Or download the Odyssey app and stay on top of everything happening anytime, even when you're not close to a radio.
Rolling through a Friday afternoon here on 97.1 FM Talk with a little Mavericks for some Christmas music. We're going to talk music with Tim Sommer in the next hour.
Christmas time is coming round again.
And we are picking out a couple of albums from the year that we both loved, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the music stories of 2024 in the 5 o'clock hour. Also, our friend Ian Sherr, CBS News tech expert. We love Ian. Frank Cusumano coming up later this hour. Right now, let's talk movies with Paul Hall. Mufasa, the big opening.
Long before they became legends, Mufasa and the prince who would come to be known as Scar became brothers.
Sometimes I get a scent. It's barely a trace on the wind, and it smells like home. And then it's gone.
Paul, Mufasa. Tell me this is good, because I am interested as a Lion King fan. How are you?
I'm good, Mark. I'll tell you what, I don't know how I can come on at this point. Alexa has really ruined it for me. There's no way I can be as good as she is. So, you know,
She's
maybe
been pretty
she
strong.
can tell you more about it.
Yeah, she's been pretty strong. But you haven't seen Mufasa yet, have you?
You know, I slacked off this week. I actually went to a movie for myself this week, and I caught up with some stuff that I may have missed thanks to Miss Jane there. And
Thank you.
So definitely, but this week the big one is Mufasa, and you've got voices of people that you know. Even if you don't know them by face, you know them by name, even down to Blue Ivy Carter as well as Beyonce show up here. So it's a family affair to a degree there. It's doing pretty decent off the gate here, getting folks out to the theater. But I don't know if this is going to hold its, hold the candle to to what we saw animated-wise, but definitely looks like a fun excursion for the most part. Between that and Sonic 3, I mean, you're going to have a lot of the teens and kids in theaters.
Well, let's talk Sonic 3 here.
Sonic, you finally found your family.
Try to keep up.
I know it hasn't always been easy, but you didn't change who you are in here.
Yeah.
There's been a high-level security breach. We need Team Sonic's immediate assistance. Project Shadow.
So this is an interesting franchise to me because I had no expectations going in that first film a few years ago, and I'm so dumb I didn't realize it was based on a video game and all that. Jane, did you ever see the first Sonic?
I did not.
So
but I heard it was
the
very
first
good.
one, Paul, I thought was excellent. Now the sequel wasn't that great. It was very, very average, and that happens with sophomore movies. Have you seen this one or not?
I haven't, and the thing about it is we've got a great cast together, including Idris Elba playing Knuckles. Keanu Reeves is here, James Marsden's back, and Jim Carrey, of course, as Dr. Robotnik. I played Sonic a lot as a young teen, and this brings a lot of the fun of gaming with this from years ago to a new generation of kids.
Well, I really did like the first one, so I'm looking forward and see if this one might hold up. Let's talk about a couple things that are streaming right now, and I just have to mention this, and it's so bad, it really is, but I still watched it, and I can't even tell people not to watch it, because if you're looking for something that's just going to let you tune out your brain, you talked about it last week, it's Carry On with Jason Bateman, and it's just so dumb. Jane, have you watched it?
My daughter loved it.
Okay.
I didn't see it.
It's bad, but it is what it is. And that's another one where just because it's set around the holidays, they're going to call it a Christmas music. They have a little Christmas music in it, right, Paul? And it's set at Christmas. Other than that, there's nothing about it that says Christmas.
Oh, it's a Christmas movie. Die Hard's a Christmas movie. Hans Gruber belonged #1 on that villain's list.
Wow,
There's no question. You see him falling from the Nakatomi Plaza? Come on.
That is epic.
Did you want to weigh in on this one here, Alexa?
Not for that, but for Sonic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and my dad started watching the show. We got to episode 5, and then we completely forgot about it.
That's right. They did do a show on that too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I
we
didn't know that.
We weren't as big of fans of that. But I didn't think Carry On was. It was terrible. But again,
but
people watch terrible movies. And last week we watched Red 1. I think we talked about that on Friday. A lot of people have seen that now because it's on Amazon.
I need to see that.
It's okay.
It's
okay. It's
I
fine.
don't have to rush.
No, but it's a good little movie to have on
to
and
distract.
Yeah, to distract and entertain. Anything else that you would mention this weekend, Paul?
Hey, I'll tell you, the one that's coming, I believe it actually officially opens Christmas Day, The Fire Inside. I got a chance to see that this week. We'll give you a little sneak peek. It's the story of former boxer Claressa Shields. She came out of Flint. She had drive to get to the Olympics, and it's definitely in a lot of the awards conversation, Mark. We talked about it a little bit when it comes to Brian Tyree Henry's performance as her coach, Jason Crutchfield. This is something that's going to actually open in theaters everywhere on Christmas Day against some of the other titles. And quite frankly, it's an inspirational movie. I think the movie was a little bit lacking in some areas, but I'll tell you what, it's a story that is great for this time of year because it's an inspiring story of that drive, that motivation. No matter where you come from, you can become something, and Claressa Shields definitely became something with her life, despite coming from some really bad circumstances in Flint, Michigan. First women to win a gold medal for the Americans in boxing back in the day. Maybe I gave you a little too much there, but it's a true story. It's based on a true story, so it's fabulous.
Speaking of true stories, and I'm going to watch it this weekend. I haven't seen it yet. It opens up on Christmas Day. It's called The Complete Unknown. It's the Dylan movie. It's weird for me because I'm a huge Springsteen guy. I'm not a big Dylan guy. I have appreciation for everything that he did as a folk singer.
I've heard this is really good.
Yeah, but I do like Timothy Chalamet, and then we always like to mention here because we have personal connection. Norbert Leo Bust plays a role in this movie too, pretty big role as the mentor of Bob Dylan. So a little local connection. His brother Steve is on the Roundtable on a regular basis. That's one of the big Christmas openings. Look, I think the box office is going to do quite well this week. There's a lot of things for people to see.
Yeah, there is. And my advice to everyone, if you're going out to a movie Christmas Day, it's a busy day in theaters if you've never been there because a lot of people finish their Christmas celebrations and head to the movies. Book your tickets in advance to make sure you have a seat there, or you may walk up and be disappointed. There's a lot of stuff out there even on streaming right now, though. I went back to Jane's pick last week of The Kings of Tupelo, and I did plug through the entire series. Had you finished it, Jane?
I haven't finished it, but it's awesome.
Remind me which one that is.
That's about.
It's weird.
It's weird, but it's awesome. It's about this weird guy who's from Tupelo and how this Elvis impersonator is connected with an attempt on the president's life. It's
remember back to the whole the white powder in the envelope.
Ricin
attack.
Mm-hmm.
This is focusing around that, and it's based on actually a true story.
Oh,
which
I didn't know that.
It is a true story. Yeah.
Yeah, it's harder than anything to believe that is based around that story. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I will say this, and I'm not done with it, Paul, but you've spoken of it, I think, highly. I did start watching on Max the Christopher Reeve documentary, and that's quite good. I'm halfway through it, so I would recommend that for sure. Yeah, what a story.
Yeah.
I mean, there's things about that you just won't remember. You know, he came out of nowhere, and those movies were so big. I mean, just unbelievable. When you hear I can't do it off the top of my head, but the box office numbers are just staggering, you know, especially if you put it into today's terms, right?
And he's a professionally trained actor. This is not a guy who walked into this action blockbuster and became, a super movie star. He was trained theatrically and in theater. And so this was one that kind of separated his family as time went on because his dad thought this was not a gig for someone who's a trained thespian, shall we say. So I'll tell you what, there's a new documentary series as you're getting ready for football on Netflix this week. Netflix launched Aaron Rodgers Enigma. This is a 3-part docuseries about Rodgers, and it takes you into places that you haven't seen yet. Including his whole ayahuasca trips to Costa Rica. You get a little bit more knowledge about who Rodgers is, and tell you what, he's a very interesting guy. He admits, of course, in here that RFK Jr. wanted him and asked him to be vice president. He does say that on camera in this, and run with him.
Jane reacted to that. That was something that had come out as kind of a rumor a while back, right?
Yeah, he comes out, and he comes in this docuseries. You will get him saying to the camera, JFK asked me to, and he just, he didn't know what to say and kind of backed away, didn't know what he wanted to do with his life. I can't say I like Aaron Rodgers any more than I do after seeing this. It humanizes him. It shows him as a man who was caught in the middle of celebrity and everything and just tried to kind of express himself different than people. And sometimes we're different. We don't all come together with the same opinions and the same backgrounds and the same knowledge. Rodgers actually comes off quite well in this. Enigma is 3 parts, about 3 hours in total. So it's about an hour apart.
Well, look, I'm a fan.
Through his series.
I love him
He's
because
weird.
I'm a fan. He is weird, but I think he's also, some of the weirdness is misrepresented. So maybe they can clear that up in the documentary. Paul, tell folks where they can find your reviews.
SimpleComGuy.com.
You have a great Christmas,
Merry
and
Christmas,
congratulations to your Bolts last night. And thank God that field goal kicker got that free kick because that gave me some points in my fantasy league, and I'm in the semifinals. So I appreciate that.
I may have won a wager on that. So
there you go.
That free kick got the kicker over the top.
That was a crazy thing. Thank you, Paul. We'll talk about that with Frank. Jane, did you see that, the free kick last night?
No,
hadn't happened since the mid-'70s. We'll get into it next.
That's awesome.
Catch anything you missed today by getting the show podcast at 971talk.com. Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Looks like we've got a stall taking out a right lane here, 170 southbound past 270. It's a little bit slow as you make your way south. A little bit further, you've got a Forest Park Parkway down to 64. And then we've got also EMS reported a crash here southbound 55 at 44. That's taking out the 2 left lanes and pretty slow approaching on 55 in that general area. Then you're slow going from Weber down to Lindbergh because of road work, so you kind of can't win in that area. Southbound on 270, some slight delays past Olive, northbound side past Page, up to about 70. You're seeing some slowdowns. And 64 westbound Kings Highway over to Big Bend. Your eastbound side really only finding delays from McKnight over to Big Bend, and the rest of the roadways are in pretty decent shape. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, let's talk about ThrottleNet here in St. Louis. George Rosenthal and the team very passionate about turning your frustration as a business owner into satisfaction. and joy because they're going to solve your IT problems and they're going to make your customers a lot happier and you're going to be a lot happier. They problem solve faster because they've implemented a very, very unique multi-tiered help desk. So they have what they call IT superheroes and they can get you this under 2-minute response time, which leads the industry. If you'd like to explore ThrottleNet, there's a couple of different ways to do that. I would say just reach out, in person. Say, George Rosenthal, I heard this guy talking about you on the radio. Show me what ThrottleNet can do for my business. You can have him over for a lunch and learn for a guest speaker spot. He'll bring lunch. He'll buy lunch. He'd love to visit with you. If you go online to throttlenet.com, you can also find out all kinds of things about what they do, where they do it, and a bunch of reviews and rave reviews they are. Throttlenet.com to get started today. Tell them that you were sent over by 97.1 FM Talk. Throttlenet.com.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
A lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, this is my last hope. The next step is getting them in the right arch supports. Our goal is to have that long-term change for them, to see someone that is in pain. I change things for them. See how we can help you with a free fitting at the Good Feet store.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the Gelman team of eXp Realty. If you want immediate cash for your home or to see what your home is actually worth in today's market, find out for free from the local experts. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
This portion of the show is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Drew Young, we don't reply all to emails. If you notice, there are only like 5 or 6 people in there that replied all. You don't want to be one of those people.
As soon as it came out, I go, oh, Drew's a reply aller.
The Mark Cox Morning Show. Weekdays from 5 to 9.
Oh, I hate the reply alls. They go out all, I just see them coming in like I'm on my iPad in the morning at home, Jane, and everybody, there should be a federal law. There really should be.
Yeah.
Do not reply all people.
Just,
Just reply to the person that, you want to congratulate. You don't have to virtue signal to the rest of the company.
I agree.
It's unnecessary. Frank Cusumano is here on a Friday afternoon from KSDK. How are you, Frank?
Mark, I don't know anybody who hasn't accidentally hit reply all at least one time and been terribly embarrassed and humiliated.
Yes, but I'm talking about the people that do it on purpose, and they know they're doing it on purpose, not the
that's
accidents.
bad.
Yeah, that's a little different. Hey, by the way, the Jack Buck Awards were Monday night. I know you were there. I think you had to scoot out and do your job, but you got a great shout-out from Brady Cook that night. I think you might have heard about that.
Yes, I did. That was really nice of Brady. He's the best. I love him. He'd be my third son if I could have another one.
I had a chance to say hi. I'd never met him before, and I do occasionally play golf with his uncle, Matt Martin, who is a great Sugar Fire franchise owner here in St. Louis. He is an impressive guy. And what does the future hold for Brady Cook, do you think?
Well, I think that when he's 100% healthy and there's no issues at all, I think there's a good chance that he is going to get in somebody's NFL camp next year. I don't know if he's going to be drafted, but as soon as this Music City Bowl is over, he's going to go straight to Kansas City and train with the quarterback guru guy who works with Patrick Mahomes. And he'll get ready for the combine. He's going to play in these all-star games, a couple of them like the Senior Bowl. And I think if he does well, he's got a chance to get drafted. And I think he's going to definitely end up in a camp. And look, Mark, there's 30 teams. They keep 4 quarterbacks if you count like the taxi squad. And I got to believe that some coach is going to fall in love with Brady Cook, and he's got a chance to make a roster.
I just have this feeling, I always felt this way about Chase Daniel, and it might still happen, but he seems like he's going to eventually head up in coaching. I don't know. He just seems to have those characteristics. He's a leader, so I wouldn't, be surprised to see him as a coach. Now, let's talk about tonight, because I wish Mizzou was playing tonight in the college football playoff. I'm definitely rooting for Indiana. I think it's interesting. These two schools are only, a short distance apart, but I think I read they've only faced Notre Dame and Indiana one time in the last 60 years.
Yeah, and I thought it was fascinating this morning. It's a terrible day in South Bend, really cold and snowy, and there were all those people already, waiting to get in and waiting to buy tickets. I mean, what a passionate game this is going to be. And you know what? Notre Dame doesn't throw the ball that well, and I know they have a really good ground attack, and St. Louis leads the way for them. But I think Indiana could make it interesting. This Signetti is an unbelievable coach, so I think I'd take Indiana on the points in this
one. There are some people that are some of the experts out there picking Indiana, outright. So I think they have a shot tonight. It's going to be interesting. Now, Frank, the Sports Cup runneth over this weekend, doesn't it?
Well, are you talking about the bragging rights game?
No, I'm talking about everything. You got football tomorrow, you got college football, you got pro football, you have the bragging rights game. There's all kinds of stuff this weekend.
Yeah, that's what makes this college football playoff, really unbelievable, is that we have a situation where, normally at this time, Mark, we'd be talking about these ridiculous bowls that nobody cares about. Instead, we have 4 unbelievable bowl games, including like Tennessee going to Ohio State. What an atmosphere that's going to be.
I love it.
So Saturday we'll be rocking along with tonight. And then, of course, Sunday at high noon at Enterprise, we have the bragging rights game against 2 very talented basketball teams.
So I'll get to that in a second, but let me just go back to college football, because I'm with you. I think this is extremely exciting. I'd love to see a team like Indiana in there. I certainly wish Mizzou was in there. But then you see what Coach Trink said in the Post-Dispatch yesterday. And look, you could see the frustration. It's the Wild West out there. These coaches are trying to do the best they can. But this portal situation, I don't know if they're going to solve some of this more into the future. It's crazy.
Well, it really is. In fact, as he said at the banquet the other night about he needs banks, he needs help
$2 million.
from banks in the area.
Right.
Yeah, it's all about cash, and I think I've mentioned this to you before, but he equates it to Moneyball. In his office, he has a number by each position of what they can pay that particular player, and he's done pretty well in the portal right now. The Mizzou portal class is ranked 10th. I mean, he's gotten a great wide receiver, Kevin Coleman from Mississippi State. He's gotten 2 starting linebackers. The one thing he hasn't gotten, and this is the $64,000 question in St. Louis sports, is who can be the quarterback next year? Because they had one down there in Miller Moss, and he decided to go to Louisville. So, and a lot of the quarterbacks have already committed somewhere else. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I do want to throw one name at you, and he mentioned this to me off camera the other night, is Sam Horn. Has been down there for a couple of years. He's coming off Tommy John surgery. When he came out of high school, he was a top 10 quarterback in America. He threw all those touchdowns in high school to Travis Hunter, who just won the Heisman. Well, nobody mentions his name, but Drink says he is back throwing, and he's got a rocket arm. I would not be surprised if he's right in the mix.
Well, he's maybe in the mix if they can't secure the kid from California or one of the other, top candidates for quarterback. It's going to be interesting. I'm not as upset about Miller Moss just because he didn't have a lot of flexibility with running the ball, and I don't think the offense would have matched up. So I'm going to have trust in Drink and the coaching staff because they've gotten us this far. What's coming up on Sunday night, Frank?
Sunday night, we're going to air our best 3 stories from Sports Plus in 2023, so 2024. So we're excited about that.
Well, have a great Christmas.
Merry
and
Christmas.
We'll be here. You're going to be here Monday afternoon. I will be here on Monday. I don't know if you'll be here.
Yep.
All right, we'll wrap it all up on Monday afternoon.
Okay, guys.
Have a great weekend. All right,
Take
take care. That's Frank Cusumano, KSDK. And Jane, we'll wrap up this last roundtable and last show for you for 2024. Next week, we'll have a best of. The final week after that is already into the new year.
And
so
game on.
It will be game on. It's going to happen quickly. It seems like it's already, game on where nothing's slowing down.
I know. Where's that part where you're just kind of relaxing?
By the way,
I mean?
they're voting right now on this
Appears
this
to
spending
succeed.
bill, and the votes are coming in. So, and it looks like, Fox is handicapping in a way that indicates that it's going to pass and there's not going to be a government shutdown. So we'll certainly keep
probably
you
a
posted
good
on that.
idea.
Yeah. All right, Jane Duker, have a great weekend. Have a great Christmas. You too.
Merry
Do me
Christmas,
one
Alexa.
favor, though. When you're around your house on Tuesday night at 5 o'clock, I'm going to stop blabbing. And for the whole 5 o'clock hour, I'm going to play Christmas music. And really good Christmas music. Some that's very personal.
I'll have that on.
Friends, it's going to be good. So I would
have that on.
invite you to watch there. Listen to that on
be.
Tuesday night. We'll take a little break here and then come back with some fun stuff, including Ian Sherr in the next hour and our friend Tim Sommer, music journalist, on some rock and roll and some music. It's all coming up.
Follow Mark on Twitter at Mark Reardon KFTK and Instagram at Mark Talk. You're listening to The Mark Reardon Show. Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
All right, we've got things slow going on your southbound side of 170. You could pass 270. You've got a crash taking out a right lane. And then another crash on 55 southbound. We're already jammed from Weber. To make that jammed at 44. We're approaching 44 with a crash taking out the 2 left lanes. And then you're slow from Weber down to Lindbergh, which is because of the road work in that area. The rest of the roadways, not too terrible. Westbound on 64, you've got a Kings Highway over to Big Bend delay. Southbound or eastbound side, take that from McKnight over to Big Bend. Southbound side of 170, slow going for Forest Park Parkway down to 64 and 44. On your eastbound side, getting into 55 because of that crash, you're seeing some delays as well. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
All right, I want to guide you into New Perspective Senior Living. It's a beautiful, beautiful new facility in Weldon Spring. Easy access to 6440, very close to Progress West Hospital, next to Persimmon Woods Golf Course. It is brand new, open for business. They have folks living in these beautiful 1- and 2-bedroom apartments right now. It's independent living, assisted living. They have a memory care facility. They also use the technology. They have AI technology, a fall detection system that works in real time. They can show that off to you. They can also show you off to all the beautiful amenities that they have at New Perspective Senior Living. They say living your life your way with the support you need. That's what they do. They're really good at it. It's a company from Minnesota. The first time they're here in the state of Missouri, in the St. Louis area. Weldon Spring, New Perspective Senior Living. Pricing and availability is available with a phone call or go on the website. You can book an appointment on the website as well. NP Senior Living. N as in Nancy, P as in Paul. New Perspective Senior Living in Weldon Spring. NPSeniorLiving.com.
Count on Steel for Christmas cleanup made easy with the SEA-20 battery-powered handheld vacuum. Now just $99.99. Visit your local Steel dealer today or shop online at SteelUSA.com. Valid offer for a limited time, only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. At Diamonds Direct, we have hundreds of styles that are ready to be wrapped and put under the tree. No need to wait for shipping. For some fabulous ideas before you head to the store, see the online seasonal gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. We've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-481-4455. 800-481-4455. That's 800-481-4455.
KFTK FM Florissant. An Odyssey station. Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
It's been a gloomy and cold Friday, and the gloom will stay with us for any evening plans. Some clouds around this evening and overnight. Winds will be dying back. It's cold, 25, though certainly nothing out of the ordinary for this evening, right around the freezing point. Saturday, changeable skies, but going mostly sunny, working our way through the day. Still cold, but the winds are light, 37, 25 Saturday night, and Sunday sunny. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Tonight, the stopgap bill will require a yes vote in the U.S. Senate. Not clear if and when that will happen. The White House just indicating President Biden supports the bill just passed in the House. The House vote coming as members of Congress are hoping to leave Washington to get home for the holidays, prompting this from Missouri Republican Congressman Mike Alford during the debate.
So as we vote on this CR, let's keep this in sight. America first, and to all, a good night.
A speeding car plowed into a Christmas market in Magdeburg, Germany Friday evening, killing at least 2 people and injuring 60.
Police have one person in custody, with the regional governor saying that this was a man in his 50s who is a doctor from Saudi Arabia who had been living in the country for the better half of the last 2 decades. The regional governor is saying that this was an isolated event, that there should be no further attacks.
Fox's Alex Hogan. Authorities say they believe the crash was deliberate. The Biden administration has dropped an offer of a $10 million reward for the head of the Syrian rebel group that ousted Syria's President Bashar al-Assad. In a meeting with the top U.S. diplomat in the Middle East, Ahmed al-Sherr committed to renouncing terrorism. The U.S. previously designated HTS, the group he leads, as a terrorist organization. Wall Street, the Dow climbed 498 points today. NASDAQ up 200. The S&P 500, 64 points higher. America's listening to Fox News.
William is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx save you a lot of money. Saving that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com and start saving today. GoodRx user compensated for their time. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
Want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan of McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home, but don't want to leave your neighborhood? You are in luck. McKelvey has brand new move-in ready homes in established neighborhoods like Creve Coeur, De Pere, Kirkwood, and many more. Select one of our custom home sites or we will build on your lot. You will love McKelvey's legendary quality and personal service. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey since 1898.
At Neovitin, we are all about supporting your nutrition, and that's why we are excited about our new Neovitin Omega-3 supplement. Neovitin Omega-3 is formulated with 1,200 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids to help support healthy hearts. Our high-quality omega-3 fish oils are sourced from wild-caught fish and tested for heavy metals. With our convenient monthly subscription, you can get Neovitin Omega-3 delivered right to your door every month with no long-term obligations. Support your daily nutrition and sign up for a Neovitin Omega-3 subscription at neovitin.com today.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
Greg Hammonds at greghammonds.com wants to remind you that if you pay for your own health insurance, open enrollment ends January 15th. If you are looking for coverage, do not go online looking for quotes. You'll get endless calls from call centers, and they will not stop. Instead, call Greg, an expert with over 40 years' experience, and he can provide sound advice for your health insurance needs. Their plans, if you qualify, let you pick your doctors, and it's 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. The monthly premiums are independent of your income, so there will be no surprise tax bills. If you pay for your own health insurance, own a small business, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. They will custom design a plan managed by you, not the government.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules.
Hey, it's Trisha here, wishing you a happy holiday season. Thank you to the entire 97.1 family for another wonderful year. I'm grateful for all of you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts.
Friday night before Christmas, taking into the weekend, big football night, big football weekend. Great chat with Frank Cusumano in the last hour. I'm hoping, nothing against the Notre Dame fans in the audience, but man, I hope the Hoosiers can do it tonight. That would be so awesome. In solidarity with my friend Alex Rich from Y98, because he is an IU guy. Tim Sommer's going to come up here a little bit later this hour. We're going to talk music, some of the big music stories of the year, and some other stuff. I always love chatting with him. He, of course, is a great rock and roll journalist, former record executive. He also was in a band in the 80s. This is interesting. I remember the name of this band, Hugo Largo. I don't remember the music, and I pulled some of the music today, but it was interesting because Tim very subtly sent the link to me. The New York Times kind of put together a list of the best box sets. And the Hugo Largo, his band that he was in, it was a weird band, too, because they didn't have a guitar player, I don't think. It was like 2 bass players and a drummer, and I might be getting some of this wrong. He'll correct me on all of it, but he's coming up here a little bit later this hour, plus an audio cut of the day. Now, the news story that just happened is the House passed the CR, the spending bill, and there's not going to be a government shutdown. Mike Johnson, the Speaker, is supposed to have some comments about that, and we'll get those to you as soon as we can. But let's talk a little tech here as we head into the weekend with one of our favorite folks on the show, Ian Sherr, CBS News tech expert. I do have some bad news for you this afternoon. You're stuck with me, Ian. Sue is off, unfortunately. I know you love Sue. Everyone loves Sue, and I don't blame you, but she deserved a little time off, so she's back on Monday. How are you?
I'll live.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. You know, I'm actually right outside D.C., as you know, so we had a little bit of snow earlier today, but I think all of the hot air on Capitol Hill pushed it away. So now
I can see that. I can see that for sure. So I have my little troublemaking daughter in the studio with me. She's almost 10 years old, but I bring her up because she had, and this was ill-advised, and I was I was not a part of this process. She had a sleepover. I don't know if you've ever done any of these with your kids, but she had 3 girls that slept over on Saturday night. And they woke me up very, very early on Sunday morning. And I'm sitting there, and the girls are up downstairs. My wife's sleeping, and I get on my iPad, and I start doing some tutorials on the new AI stuff with the iPhone, because I have a new 16 Pro, and I always feel like I underuse the technology, right?
Yeah.
But in this case, I sat there and I tried to learn as much about it as I could, and I think I learned a little. But there's some options now with this new iOS that you didn't have before, correct?
It depends on which phone you have, but yes.
Yeah, no, it does. You're right. But I have the
So
16, so it does work
you
with
have
that.
the 16,
Yeah.
so you definitely do, yes. So if you have an iPhone 15 Pro or above, right? So last year's $1,000 iPhone or more, or this year's, what you are able to do is that you have, they announced all of this Apple Intelligence AI stuff earlier this year. And it came out and, it does stuff like it helps you to summarize text messages and email threads. And it works kind of okay. There's been a lot of interesting experiences people have gone through with them. One of my favorites that went around the internet was someone had their significant other break up with them over text. And so the summarized was literally broken up, comma, coming to get my things. And it was like, okay, that's very, that works, I guess. But then there was one of the new things that it's doing is that it's working with ChatGPT, which of course is OpenAI's very popular AI technology where you can essentially ask it questions and it will do stuff like, for example, help you to write a poem or help you to be able to come up. I mean, I love to do limericks and all sorts of stuff. It's just my little thing. But even, if you're trying to come up with a recipe or whatever else. And so it's interesting that Apple's doing this. Their partnerships with startups are pretty well known. Clearly, they are trying to make this thing competitive with what Google is doing. But yeah, it's interesting.
So what would you like? I don't really know how to use the AI still. I mean, I've figured out some of the other functions with the new iOS that aren't necessarily related to, AI. And there's some fun things that you can do that you couldn't do before. And I love the camera, by the way. The camera is amazing, and the slow-mo and, the cinematic mode. So some of that stuff is really, really good with the new phone. But on the AI stuff, what would you recommend to people that don't know what the hell they're doing? They have the new iOS. They have a phone that would help them do some of this stuff. I see the commercials, and the commercials make it look like you should be having a conversation with your phone because you don't have any friends or something like that. But what's a way to kind of enter the AI world and just take baby steps, Ian? Do you have recommendations there?
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, because you have a lot of friends, Mark, you don't have to deal with that. But
yeah.
I think the thing is that for most people, I think the place to start is actually by having it help you to write emails and text messages.
Yeah.
It's actually really fun. What you do is that you start writing and, either an email or whatever, and you highlight it. And what it can do is that you can tell it to change the tone of your email. So if you have a boss who's not that great and you need to send them a strongly worded text message.
It's funny you should mention that. Yes. Go ahead. Tell me more.
So what you do is you can highlight it and you can tell it, hey, make this more professional or make it silly or whatever else. And so for some people, that's really helpful because there's an acknowledgement, I think, on some level that we all struggle to know what to say. And so having it even be able to, if you said to it, I need to write an email where I am really disappointed with the way the day went and I hope tomorrow is better, it can actually just write the email for you. And that's kind of cool. Like that is something that is actually useful. And I know a lot of people who sit there and they don't like having to write out an email or they don't even want to deal with that type of thing. And, you and me, Mark, we're writers, but not everyone feels that way. And so this is really helpful.
Well, would it do this? See, this is where I'm wondering if the AI would help. So because in my situation, I'm the kind of guy, Ian, that, the little angel and the devil on your shoulder. And the devil says, don't do it. Don't say that. Don't send that email. So can I check with AI and say, should I send this email or is it really stupid and is it going to get me in more trouble? Would it prevent me from doing stupid things, I guess is what I'm saying.
To some degree, yes. With that, so this is where Apple kind of draws the line and you want to get the ChatGPT app or the Gemini app or Meta's app or whatever, where you actually talk to the AI directly. Apple is trying to kind of split the difference. And instead of having a conversation with the AI, you kind of ask it to help you with something.
Right.
And in this, but it's not the same. So I always tell people, especially when you're trying to come up with emails, because honestly, for some reason, ChatGPT and Google's Gemini are great at email. Like, that's the one thing they do really well. They don't do a lot of other things great, but they definitely do email really well. Is that you can just fire it up and say, I need to write an email to such and such person who I have all of this backstory with, and you can tell the thing the whole backstory, and then you can say, here's what I need to say, and it will recommend what to write.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
crazy.
actually helpful. You don't want to copy paste. But even there are people I know who are marketers and who are professional writers who they have writer's block, right? We all deal with it. And I tell them, look, I know it sounds silly, but just ask ChatGPT for ideas. Don't copy paste. Don't use it, but ask it for ideas because it'll get your creative juices flowing.
My wife uses it quite a bit, and she's in marketing, and she's been able to put it to use. So I've watched it from, not from afar, but sort of, in my house. But I'm still a little anxious to use some of it. Now, I was at the Apple store yesterday, and I was seeing, and I know that they've had these for a while, but I saw the Apple goggles. Is that something that's more hot this year with what they're doing there?
Well, it's interesting. It really has been a question mark. These things are the $3,500 virtual reality headset, right? That, it puts a screen so close to your face that it makes you feel like you're in a virtual world. But it also has cameras all around the outside, and it shows you a picture of the real world, too. So imagine, I don't recommend you do this, but imagine you could be cooking, and it would literally give you instructions on what to do next as you're cooking, and you're just wearing the goggles, or you're able to walk around outside, and it gives you the map directions as you're walking. And so it's an interesting device, but it hasn't caught on the way the iPhone did.
Well, I
right?
wonder if the price has anything to do with it, right?
Price could have something to do with it, but it's worth remembering that the iPhone, when it came out, was many hundreds of dollars more than competing phones at the time, right? Most people got a phone for free through their cellular plan. Apple was asking for at least $200, and it was usually even more than that. And so it was still an ask. And I don't know whether Apple's going to be able to make this work, right? Betting against them is never really a great idea, but it's still interesting to see them struggle with this because generally it feels like whenever Apple does something, it's an automatic hit. And this one, they're still trying to figure it out.
Well, I've told you this before. I'm a big Apple guy, and I allow them the freedom to figure it out, and I do like what they've done so far. So, one of the things that this is little, but if Sue were here, we would highlight it more. I love the fact that they finally figured out this damn thing where people couldn't communicate between, the iPhone and the Androids, and you can send pictures now because I was unable to send a picture to Sue from my house because I have no cellular service there. I'm only on Wi-Fi, and with Wi-Fi, they prevented you from, sending pictures. So now they figured that out, so that's a lot easier.
But it's still green bubbles.
Yeah,
so
I know.
You're still being finger wagged for not being a blue bubble.
Well, and I'm a blue bubble, so I'm okay with that. Hey, are we going to finally ban TikTok in this country? What's up with that?
It's interesting. The Supreme Court has agreed to hear a case around it. And you may remember, right, when Trump was in office the first time around, he threatened to ban TikTok from the country, and he said it was a national security threat. The government at that time did not explain why it was a national security threat, other than to say that its headquarters is in the country of China. But otherwise, they didn't say anything. Well, fast forward, the Biden administration says, hey, Congress, if you're willing to write a law, we will actually ban TikTok. And so Congress wrote the law. Biden actually banned it. And by January 19th, the day before Trump gets into office, TikTok is supposed to be banned from the United States. TikTok is fighting that. And they're saying, look, this cannot be allowed under the First Amendment. They say that the First Amendment, we all know it doesn't allow the government to stop our freedom of speech. And they argue that by shutting down one of the most popular social networks in the world, they are keeping Americans from being able to exercise their free speech. And I think it'll be really fascinating to hear what the Supreme Court thinks, right? I mean, this is arguably one of the biggest First Amendment cases that we've seen in a very long time. And whatever the decision is going to have massive impacts.
I'm not a lawyer. I don't play one on the radio. But, the free speech issue related to this is quite fascinating to me. I'm not a TikTok person. I've never had it on my phone. I do have a 1 TikTok a day policy in my household because my wife and my daughter try to force these things upon me. But, banning it outright, and I know, I have security concerns with this being more of a national security issue with spying, but I can also understand the free speech cases. And you're right, this could be interesting before the court. I don't know. It's such a unique case. We haven't really had things along these lines come before our courts. So this could be interesting.
And I think what's really fascinating as well is that I read the actual documents that TikTok's lawyers have filed with the courts. And the one thing that they bring up that makes it really interesting is they say a lot of the complaints people have about the national security issue, and remember, the government hasn't actually told us. We're just guessing. But a lot of the concerns about tracking and listening in and following what you do and where you are and all that, that's stuff that Facebook and Google and all these other people we know already do that.
That's right.
So So part of it, they argue, is why are you upset with us when you allow your own countrymen to do it?
Well, there's something to that.
Right. That is the problem, right?
Yeah.
And so it makes it a really fascinating argument. And look, there is a legitimate national security conversation to be had. I really wish the government would share what they know so we could have that discussion. But in the meantime, it's a First Amendment debate.
On the topic, this is outside of our usual conversations, but on the topic of things that the government might not tell us, do you have any opinions on this drone situation?
I am really interested in the fact that it kind of underscores this whole we don't all know what's going on, right? What fascinates me is that the government isn't being silent about it. There's a lot of local government officials saying we don't know what's going on. And it's weird, right? It feels weird that there could be something in our airspace and near our family homes that we don't know what's going on. And it seems increasingly like it isn't about UFOs, or even one congressperson said it might be a carrier from Iran that's off the coast. That doesn't seem to be the case either. It seems to be that it's about United States Air Force or whatever. But it's still weird that we don't really know. But you know what? When the SR-71 Blackbird showed up for the first time, no one thought an airplane could evade sonar and radar. And guess what? They figured it out. So maybe that's what this is.
I think it's just so bizarre to me, and I don't know what to believe. And it's hard for me to believe that it's everyone's imagination. Do I think psychologically some people are seeing helicopters when they think it's a drone or a plane? Absolutely. This is going to happen. So I don't think there's as many drones as have been reported, but there is something going on there, and it seems like the explanation is not satisfactory. So I don't know what to think. It's bizarre, though, because, the other thing that really kind of comes into play, and this is kind of taking us into a different area where the show explores these issues on a more regular basis, but there's no trust in some of these institutions in the government, so people don't know what to believe, and they don't trust it.
Yeah, and that's exactly, I was going to say that as well, is that the worst part is that we live in a time when we don't trust the government, and the government hasn't really proven in a lot of ways to justify us having trust in it in various different ways, right? Especially when it comes to secret things. And so, it's really weird. And we may not ever find out what this is, or we may not find out for 50 years when the secrets lapse. But for now, hopefully, it's not bad. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, me too, by the way. But then, Phil Murphy, the governor of New Jersey, is out there saying, there's nothing to worry about. I mean, he's the guy that admits that people are seeing things and that it's strange. He's like, it's fine. No, but how do we know that? That's the part that's confusing. Well, listen, Ian, it's always great to catch up and have some great tech conversations. I hope you have awesome Christmas family plans with everybody out there in D.C. I hope you get a little snow for White Christmas, though, or your holiday, because my daughter is begging for snow here in the Midwest, and we don't have it. Probably rain next week. But have a great holiday, Ian. Sherr, I'd love to talk to you. You know that. And Sue's going to be mad that she missed you.
I'm sad I missed her, too, but you have a great holiday as well.
All right, take care, Ian. Tim Sommer talking music coming up next, plus an audio cut of the day.
Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
All right, things moving a little slow if you're headed on the southbound side of 170. This is because of a crash right past 270. It's taking out a left lane. Northbound side hits the brakes pretty much from 70 up to Airport Road. A little further south on 170, you're going to hit the brakes at Forest Park Parkway down to 64. 64 is slow going on your westbound side from Kings Highway to Big Bend. And the eastbound side takes the brakes from McKnight to Big Bend. And 55 southbound over the Poplar Street Bridge all the way down to past 44. Pretty jammed up with a crash taking out the two left lanes, jamming up 44 as well as you approach 64 on your eastbound travel. And 270 on your northbound side is pretty clear. Southbound side from Olive down to 64 slow. And then as you approach 44. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Prescription products require completion of an online medication consultation with an independent healthcare provider through the LifeMD platform and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Individual results may vary. Additional restrictions apply at lifemd.com. Read all warnings before using GLP-1s. Side effects may include a risk of thyroid C-cell tumors. Do not use GLP-1s if you or your family have a history of thyroid cancer.
Should GLP-1 weight loss medication like Wegovy and Zepbound cost hundreds of dollars? We don't think so. TryLifeMD.com helps provide insurance access to the leading GLP-1 medications. Visit TryLifeMD.com and check your eligibility for GLP-1 medication with copays as low as $0. Listen to Tara's story after losing 42 pounds.
You just take your shot. It doesn't feel like you're on a diet. What I wasn't expecting it to do was to shut off the food noise. I've gone from 237 to 195. This was life-altering, and if I can do it, I feel like anybody can do it.
Get started right now and check your eligibility for GLP-1 medication with copays as low as $0 at TryLifeMD.com. That's TryLifeMD.com.
Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-987-6122. 800-987-6122. 800-987-6122.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Who you choose to sell your St. Louis area home matters, especially in this changing market. We all know a few realtors, including me, but I only recommend one realtor. Mark Cox here. For the past several years, I've gotten to know Gloria Liu, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria's different, guaranteeing to sell your home at your agreed-to price, or Gloria will buy it. When selling your home, you want the most money and the least hassle. That's exactly what you get with Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Check this out. After 6 months, 2 separate agents failed to sell the Wheeler family's home. With no more time to waste, they decided to give Gloria Liu a call. Within a few days, Gloria was able to get them multiple offers and sold their home at nearly 99% of listing price because Gloria already had the buyers. The agent you choose to sell your home really matters. Call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
This portion of the show is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air.
Hi, this is Hans von Spakovsky, and I'm a senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation. When I was a kid, I and my friends would actually go to our neighbors' houses and sing Christmas carols, and I wish more people were still doing that today.
Charlie Sexton with this one. Hey, Fred, I got to tell you something here before we get Tim Sommer on. So this is terrible. I lost control of the studio. Alexa comes over here. She's been here all day. And she says, where's the mouse for this computer? There's a couple of computers, and there's one over there.
Oh, no.
And that one over there has got the comments from the audience on the YouTube stream. And she claims that I said that she could comment, and she just starts typing out messages to the audience. She's checking in with people saying, "Hi, Alexa
She's
here, Merry
chatting
Christmas." Oh, yeah. She's
with our
chatting
listeners?
live on the YouTube stream right now, and I had no idea she was doing it.
I asked this earlier, Mark. When you go to Greece next year,
yes,
is Alexa going with you?
No.
Can she fill in for you
Yes.
while you're gone?
Yeah, I think she can. I think she'll do a good job. Speaking of Tim Sommer, our favorite music journalist, former record executive, and contributor to the Rock and Roll Globe website. How are you, Tim?
Oh, what a pleasure, and happy Christmas to you and your family. And does poor Sue know she's lost her job to Alexa?
Well, hopefully not. Sue's going to be mad that she missed Alexa because they do have a good time together. And I thought, listen, she had off school today, so I thought we'd drag her in here.
What a pleasure listening to Alexa, and she's got good taste, and she has great radio skills.
I know. She used to be really shy. But let's talk a little music here as we take people into the weekend.
First of all, the songs you've been playing have been amazing. You just played Charlie Sexton. Now, Charlie Sexton, who I think is right now out on the road as Elvis Costello's guitar player, was Bob Dylan's guitar player for a very long time. And if you've ever seen Charlie Sexton perform live, that is a treat.
It was not an accident that I picked that song for our segment because I have seen Charlie with Bob Dylan. I've seen Bob a couple of times, and he is an awesome guitarist. I didn't know he was out with Elvis. They just announced a new tour with Elvis, I think the Factory here in St. Louis, and it's a little different type of tour where he's going back, I think, to some more obscure songs, if I understood correctly. I don't know.
I did hear about that, yes.
Yeah. I saw Elvis several years ago, maybe 10 years ago, when it was here at the Pageant, a great venue, and it was just Elvis, not a band, and he was doing some storytelling. There was some video. I had no idea. His dad was a huge star in the early 60s in England, in London.
That's right, yeah, a big band star, band leader.
Yeah, like for a variety show or something like that, too.
Yeah.
And, boy, if you could have seen the video of his father and what Elvis looks like, man, no mistaking those two. So one of the questions that we had was, what are the biggest music stories of the year? I have some thoughts on that, and I know you have some thoughts on that. We can go over some of our stuff.
I'm going to throw three at you.
Okay.
And again, we're talking personal opinion here. This is all, I was going to say objective, but for the life of me, despite the fact that I write for a living, Mark, I always get objective and subjective mixed up.
I can empathize with that, yeah.
So let's just say it's my opinion. So I'm going to give you three stories. The first is Taylor Swift. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. We grew up, and I mean specifically you and I, Mark, we grew up in an era where we were made to believe that no one could ever possibly be as big or be as important to young people as the Beatles were to us. Yet here comes Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift turns an entire generation of young women, young girls, into music fans for life. She makes them listen to her music, and I mean listen, not just dispose of it, not just listen to 30 seconds on Spotify, but really study the music and be absorbed by the music. And she does the first billion-dollar tour in history. So I think when you look at the biggest stories of the year, Taylor Swift, and the fact that I think she really did the impossible. She finally came along and did something as big as the Beatles. So that's my number one.
And I think it's an appropriate number one. And I must say, I think because I pay a lot of attention to music outside of my children, and I already have, will I be lying if I would say that my daughter didn't have some influence there? Of course, because I've been exposed to more of the music. But I'm a fan. I really am. I like a lot of the music. I'm a fan of hers. I would stay outside of the political arena in most musical artists, including Mr. Springsteen. But I think she's fantastic as an entertainer, and I'm very much look forward to see how it evolves from here because she's got lots of opportunities, I think, in the future.
And as I said, I think one of the greatest things she does is she created a new generation of people who cared about records, who cared about music, who cared about lyrics, who followed, this is what a bass player does, this is what a guitar player does, this is how songwriting develops. And that's just wonderful. And when it comes to Taylor Swift, that sort of leads me to what I think is one of the other major musical stories of 2024, which is, I think we finally learned that no one gives a holy damn who a musician supports politically. It's not going to change an election. It's not going to change votes. You can have Bruce Springsteen get on stage and say, vote for this person. You can have Taylor Swift get on stage and say, please vote for this person. You know what? It doesn't make a difference. And for a long time, we all thought it would make a difference. Do you remember, Mark, how excited people were, how excited the Democrats were when Taylor Swift came out for Kamala? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. A lot of people were predicting it would be a huge game changer, right? Bringing the legions of women, right.
And it just wasn't. And a part of that, there are probably a lot of reasons for that. I think a part of that is today the rock stars are MMA fighters. They're not the rock stars you and I grew up with. Today, the rock stars are those kind of personalities, the kind of personalities that Vince and Linda McMahon created. And I'm not putting that down, by the way. I'm just saying is that I think the Democrats had a very old school idea of what a rock star was, about who might sway opinions. I really thought, and I'm going to admit I was very naive about this, I really thought that Bruce Springsteen and Taylor Swift, not to mention all the other, Hollywood celebrities, coming out for the Democrats would make a difference. Turned out it didn't. And I think that punctures a myth that we've held on to for a lifetime.
One of the things that I would say about Springsteen, because I follow him so closely and I've seen him, close to 50 times in concert, people can take this for what it's worth. He has, over the years, gone out, obviously, and endorsed candidates, done rallies, things like that. But in those 50 concerts that I've seen, maybe there were 2 times where I've heard him ever on stage talk specifically about party politics. In other words, about a Democrat or Republican. Right. There was a concert in Milwaukee that's rather legendary in the E Street world from election night in I think it was 1988. But anyway, the bottom line is he doesn't do that in concert. And I don't think Taylor Swift really does either. So you're able, as a fan, to sort of separate that stuff. But I bring it up because it begs the question: why do it at all?
Yeah, I have to say, for better or worse, and I tend to be I'm a great fan of protest music. I'm a great fan of the classic protest singers like Bob Dylan and Pete Seeger and Phil Oakes. I'm a great fan of these people. But at the end of the day, I'm all for activism, and I'm not just talking about democratic activism. I'm talking about whatever activism. I'm all for musicians taking a stance, but I think we can stop pretending that it's going to sway elections. Maybe it can alert people to union issues, and I think Bruce Springsteen's been very big on that stuff. Yeah. It can alert people to union issues. It can alert people to local issues. But in terms of swaying it on a national election, I think 2024, it punctured that bubble.
Did you have one more story, or did you cover 3 stories?
Yes, I did. I did. I wanted to say that the fact that Bob Dylan is still out there playing the shows of his life, anyone who goes to see Bob Dylan is going to see the definition of a man with a rock and roll heart. Bob Dylan gets on stage, he plays for himself, he plays with the energy of an 18-year-old or a 16-year-old playing in their garage. He's a rock and roll heart, and he does it again and again and again. He's determined to die on that stage being true to the inner spirit of the god of rock and roll. And Bob Dylan's never-ending tour, which continued throughout 2024, I think that's, to me, one of the biggest stories of the year, is that he is still out there. And now, of course, we have the movie.
Yeah, the movie's coming out in a few days. A Complete Unknown with Timothy Chalamet. We have a St. Louis guy, Norbert Leo Butz, who is a friend who's also in that movie as Bob Dylan's mentor. I haven't seen it. I'm going to watch it this weekend, so I'll have a report on Monday afternoon before Christmas.
I bought tickets for me and my family for Christmas Day. We're going to go see the movie. And I want to say this about the movie, and I think it's important. The movie was done very much with Bob Dylan's cooperation, and this is something you can never forget about Bob Dylan. He is a joker. He is a man not obsessed, that's the wrong way to put it. He's a man who's created his own myth. The good thing about Bob Dylan is that when it comes to his own mythology, when it comes to telling his own story, you can't believe anything that comes out of his mouth. And I think that's going to be reflected in the movie. You may remember a few years ago, there was a terrific Martin Scorsese documentary done with Dylan about his touring in the 1970s. Do you remember that?
I do, but I never saw it.
It's a wonderful film, and it was all made up. The footage was real, the live footage, but the stories Bob Dylan told about the tour were entirely made up. Now, I expect that the movie, even though I've heard that it's very touching and very effective, is also going to be full of this gorgeous, almost Dada-like, if to use the word for the art movement, this Dada-like mythology where Bob Dylan just loves to make up stuff about his own life.
That's interesting.
So I watch out for that in a good way.
Curious. All right, so let's. You asked. We were talking earlier via text, and one of the suggestions was coming up with a couple of albums of the year, and I did that. So I'm going to start on this because there's two that sort of
because mine are going to be so obscure, everyone's going to be bored to death.
Yours are obscure. We pulled a little music, but mine are probably obscure as well to a certain extent. But there's a band that I love, and I actually got to see them about a month ago, and their name is Coin, and they just put out a new record. This is what they sound like here. This is called Strawberry Jam. And they're basically a three-piece. I mean, they have
That's
more.
Lovely. Is that spelled with a K or a C?
No, it's it's all capital letters, COIN. And I've been a fan of theirs for several years. And they've been around for probably a decade or more. But I saw them.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's really good. Well, I play like the second half of this song too. It's like a lot of harmonica. It's just got a great sound to it. So that album, outside of this song, Strawberry Jam, really, I loved. It was one of those records I could just put on. And then I'll kind of go in a little different direction for my second favorite here, and that's the Mavericks put out a new record this year. And I'm a big fan of the Mavericks, and this is one of the songs from that. I use this as a bump every once in a while. It's called Live Close, and really good sound here. I love Raul Malo so much.
I love you, baby. I like your company. You make me laugh. You never make me.
Tim, have you ever seen the Mavericks in concert?
Yes, I have. Not for many years, but isn't that a beautiful example of the fact that artists, as they enter their 50s and enter their 60s, can still make powerful music? Artists aren't, it's not like the old days when artists would just get up there and play their oldies. Someone like the Mavericks can go into the studio and they can do something that has the heart and soul and energy and grit of the stuff they were doing in their 20s, and maybe even better than the stuff they were doing in their 20s.
I think sometimes better. And that's I love the Mavericks because, and Sue and I talk about this a lot, they're really the type of band, like if I wanted to just take a random friend or someone that I wanted to really show them a great concert, a great live concert experience, they wouldn't even have to know the music. And I'd take them to a Mavericks show, and they would be blown away. They really would.
You have great taste. Seriously, that's a really good call.
So those are my two records there. What do you have for me that I've never heard of?
Speaking of artists who've been around for a long time, yet are still at the top of their game, there is a phenomenal, one of my all-time favorite bands is an English band called Hawkwind. Hawkwind are a space rock band. In fact, they may be the inventor of space rock. It's been said that Hawkwind are the missing link between Pink Floyd and the Sex Pistols. And in England, they're kind of as big as the Grateful Dead, even though they don't sound anything like the Grateful Dead. They're kind of a hippie cult band, but also the punk rockers love them too. And they've been around for 55 years, and they put out an album this year called Stories from Time and Space, which was it was their best album in 40 years, and just shows that they still got it, that they're still investigating, inventing, and making beautiful space rock. This album, for you or for the people listening to the show, imagine a cross between Supertramp and Pink Floyd and the Cars or the Sex
Wow.
Pistols.
All right, you got my attention now. Yeah. I'd never heard of it. I do like the name of the band, Hawkwind, though. I like that. All right, you had one other here that I pulled.
1969.
Nice. What about this one here? Ethan pulled this, so I don't know if this is one of the songs that's a hit.
This is from the other album.
Yeah, this is from the other album. Want to talk about this one?
Yeah, it's a great gift to make music that is not ambient, but that is delicate, but draws you in, that is intense. Not music that just sits in the background, but quiet, strange music that really engages you. There is a European duo called Mars Smith, made up of a flautist named Daniela Mars and a pianist named Paul Smith, and they did an absolutely exotic and beautiful album this year called Faroe Islands Echoes on the Wind. And I know that sounds like it's going to be a floaty experience, but it's a really deep, intense experience to listen to the piano and the flutes just drift you off across the seas, and it's really one of my favorite albums of the year.
I like the sound of this. I'm going to put that in my queue and title, which is the music service that I use, and I'm quite curious about that. I also, one of the other things I asked you is I've been playing.
That's a reminder that I have to really spend more time with Tidal.
I love Tidal. I think it's great.
One of the things I predict for 2025 is going to be the fall of Spotify, but we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah, you sent me a piece. Let's do that because I do want to follow up on that. I was going to tell you. So there's a great song. I was going to get your opinion on this. So I'm doing Christmas music on Tuesday. They're allowing me to spin some Christmas tunes, and most of them are going to be artists that I either know personally or have some sort of connection to.
If they're anything like the bumpers you've been playing today, it's going to be a hell of a show.
Yeah, there's good, but some of the stuff that I play as bumpers has got a little bit more high energy. There's some of the songs I'll play on Tuesday that are a little bit more, a little slower, not maybe great bumper music. But there's an artist that came out right around 2000, and early 2000s. Her name is Lizzie West, and she wrote an original Christmas song called "Family Christmas." I'll just a little sample here.
About 3 to shake the boxes by the tree, and wait as patiently as 2 or 4 or 6.
Now, Tim, listening to her sing, this song is called "Family Christmas." Do you think that vocal sounds like any other singer that you're familiar with? Just out of curiosity.
In all honesty, no.
Okay, let me play. So she did a song. Well, she did a record called Holy Road, and it was just a great record. It was on Warner Brothers. It was very, very,
How long ago?
Like early, I'm thinking 2001, 2002. But this was one of the songs. But listening and see if the lyric or the vocals sound familiar. So what happened was this album was fantastic, and I was told by Lizzie that at WXRT in Chicago, which is a legendary radio station, the guy said, we can't play this. It sounds too much like Natalie Merchant, which, I mean, how many bands sound like one another?
Very interesting.
But she does have kind of a Natalie Merchant sound. But I got to know her, and we became, a little friends, and then she just vanished. I mean, I've never been able to find her since about 2007. The record is still up there. It's the only record that she ever put out. The song Family Christmas is still out on the streaming platforms. But man, she just vanished. I even texted a couple weeks ago to see if she would answer and got nothing back, but it was just weird. And I guess you got artists like that.
You're giving shout-outs to your listeners to see if anyone knows anything?
Well, she's not from around here, but every once in a while, that does happen. Now, look, I just looked at the clock, so unfortunately I ran out of time to talk any more music. My goodness, this goes by very quickly. But I do want to follow up after the first of the year when Sue's back, and we'll talk about some of the Spotify stuff. But have a great Christmas. And by the way, I mentioned this. I didn't get to play it, but your band, Hugo Largo, from the 80s, was mentioned on this list from the New York Times in the best box sets of the year, right?
I know. What a I mean, that was an unexpected pleasure. We made 2 albums in 1988 and 1989, and they finally have been re-released 35 years later in a box set. And imagine my surprise to find that the New York Times put them on the list, put the box set for Hugo Largo on the list of the best box sets of the year. That was a great surprise.
Congratulations. Have a great holiday, Tim Sommer. We will talk very soon after the first of the year.
Thank you so much.
Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
We're seeing some delays on your 70 or 270 southbound. This is because of 2 crashes. One is right about 44, just past 44, so you're kind of jammed up from Manchester down to 44 with a crash on the right shoulder. Another one a little further down, just past Gravois, near Tesson Ferry. You've got the crash also on the right shoulder, so it's improving, but still delays. Westbound 64 is slow going from Kings Highway over to Big Bend. Eastbound side, you take the brakes from about McKnight over to Big Bend. Southbound on 170 in that same area, slow going from Forest Park Parkway down to 64. And for 55 southbound over the Poplar Street Bridge down to past 44, jammed up because of a crash in the 2 left lanes. And I am Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
If you're a business owner here in St. Louis, you want to pay attention because ThrottleNet is here to help you with your cybersecurity and IT needs, and they're outstanding. And they're so good that they don't lock you into a contract. They're very proud of their under 2-minute response time, which leads the industry. If you need great business IT support, they proudly protect businesses here in St. Louis and throughout the Midwest from cyber threats. They provide specialized expertise in applications, systems, and security compliance. You can probably hear the level of competence and expertise when George Rosenthal, who runs ThrottleNet, on the air with us when he is called into service if we have a cyber attack or anything like that. He's awesome. We love hearing from George, but this is what they do for a living. They help your business. You can grow your business. You can protect your business from something that could be devastating. No client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom, so keep that in mind. If you need great business IT support and cybersecurity, here's where it's at in St. Louis. ThrottleNet. ThrottleNet.com. If you throw a /971 on the back of that, you get a tour of the dark web. Check out ThrottleNet today.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Monday, Donald Trump's already beating Congress, and he's not even in office yet. We'll talk it over with our friend Jessie Jane Duff at 8:20.
The Mark Cox Morning Show, weekdays from 5 to 9, right here on 97.1 FM Talk. Mark Reardon on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Christmas time is here. Give a laugh and give a cheer for everybody.
G-Love and Special Sauce. It's been a while since I've seen that band. Used to see them all the time. Great vibe. If you're not familiar, we are going to have Sue back in the studio with us on Monday afternoon, which I'll be very happy for. It's been a lonely place here this week, but Ethan and Fred have kept me company. But we're going to kind of lighten the load a little bit next week. Kenny Wallace is going to join us, the legendary Kenny Wallace in the 3 o'clock hour. You know, Kenny, the goal there is he just spreads Christmas cheer. He really does. That's what he does. He spreads cheer year-round. So Kenny will be here. My dear friend, I love him so much, George Gray from The Price is Right, who's in to see his mother, Mama May, here from California, and he's going to play a little game that he came up with called The Price is Wrong, Mark. We'll do that in the 4 o'clock hour. Producer Emeritus David Klein came up with some awesome items for that, so I'm very excited. I didn't even cheat. Dave sent the list to me. I forwarded it to George. My buddy, Chris Trevino, old journalism school friend, is going to join us at 5:07 to talk Mizzou basketball, hopefully after a bragging rights victory on Sunday. We'll talk about the bowl game and the rest of the college football playoff. Gervino is awesome. And then Johnny Holzum from the Well Hungarians. He's another dear friend. I'm basically favoring friends on Monday and Tuesday, including my friend Brian Kilmeade, who's going to be with us on Tuesday. Dan Buffalo will talk some holiday movies in the 4 o'clock hour. And Neil Salsik, who is an outstanding singer-songwriter with the Mighty Pines, will also be with us. He's got a great concert coming up next week. And in the 5 o'clock hour, I'm going to play a little Christmas music. So that's how we will wrap up the shows for the year. Sue and Ethan will take you through the rest of the week. We're going to do some best of Mark Reardon shows and have some fun with that stuff as well. I think they're going to still do the Sue's News and everything along those lines. But we ought to do this.
Stand by. Playback ready.
Now, the audio cut of the day.
Okay, this one runs a little longer than usual, only because we didn't air it earlier. They did reach a new spending deal. The House voted to approve it earlier. Here's the House Speaker, Mike Johnson, explaining everything.
Priority for us. This is America First legislation because it allows us to be set up to deliver for the American people. In January, we will make a sea change in Washington. President Trump will return to D.C. and to the White House, and we will have Republican control of the Senate and the House. Things are going to be very different around here. This was a necessary step to bridge the gap, to put us into that moment where we can put our fingerprints on the final decisions on spending for 2025. We also, in this bill, as you know, took care of Americans who desperately needed and deserved the assistance. We had a record hurricane season. Hurricanes Helene and Milton in particular did dramatic damage across at least 6 states, the Carolinas, Virginia, from Florida, Tennessee, all the way through. And they have been waiting for the federal government to assist. We did that tonight in this bill. We also took care of our farmers, many of whom were on the brink of collapse because of Bidenomics, frankly, because the inflationary cost of their inputs and the inability they have right now to get loans from the banks and the lenders to put their crops in the ground, to put the seeds in the ground in the spring. So we had to take care of that, and we did. We are excited about this outcome tonight. We're grateful that everyone stood together to do the right thing. And having gotten this done now as the last order of business for the year, we are set up for a big and important new start in January. We can't wait to get to that point. We encourage swift passage in the Senate now. They need to do their job as the House just did. We will all go home. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year, because I hope not to see you until we get back after that. I was in constant contact with President Trump throughout this process, spoke with him most recently about 45 minutes ago. He knew exactly what we were doing and why, and this is a good outcome for the country. I think he certainly is happy about this outcome as well. Elon Musk and I talked within about an hour ago. And we talked about the extraordinary challenges of this job. And I said, hey, you want to be Speaker of the House? I don't know. He said, this may be the hardest job in the world. I think it is. But we're going to get through this. We are going to unify this country, and we are going to bring the America First agenda to the people beginning in January. We cannot wait to get started. I hope you all have a great holiday.
All right, there you go, Mike Johnson. That's your audio cut of the day. We'll talk more about this on Monday. Have a great weekend. I'm just going to say this, even though I'm a Mizzou guy. No offense to the Irish. Go Hoosiers.
Baby, be my Christmas baby. Won't you be my Christmas baby? Won't you be my Christmas baby? Oh, honey, you know I love you, baby.
Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
I just got a couple of delays if you're headed southbound on 270 from